Welcome to another edition of Banter and Babble. I am the Dude79, and joining me always, my esteemed colleague, Mr. Fanboytone. Mr. Fanboytone. Good evening, sir. It's Wednesday.
It is hump day. It is B&B day.
But that also means we won't get completely annihilated. That's the one thing I've been looking forward to getting back to Wednesday nights is that more controlled drinking. Not the, hey, let's see how many we can smash in 3 hours like on a Friday or Saturday.
That's on you.
Although those shows have been fun.
Yeah.
They've been a lot of fun. Last week, or this past weekend, we had 7D Dungeons on.
Yeah, he says there's somebody missing
here. There
is
somebody missing here. Well, actually, he is here. He's just under the table.
That's true.
But we can't tell you what he's doing. You have to guess. It's part of tonight's game. It's kind of like a meta game or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Yeah, something like that. I don't know. But good evening. I see that. Oh, everyone's in the chat. Dungeon, thank you so much for that raid. What's going on, brother? How's your night going? Kronos is here tonight. Buried Alive is here tonight. Half-ass beer review. And Mossy Bros has an hour.
Kronos. Yep.
Mossy Bros has an hour, so we're going to start off with, what are we going to start off with? Something lame. Mossy Pro's Halo skills. We'll discuss that. I think that'd be a good
They're skills? Those are skills?
I mean, we use the term skills very loosely over here. Yeah, it is cold. It's cold like this beer we're drinking.
That's right.
Tone, what the fuck are we drinking, bro?
Perrin Brewing. So I haven't had this yet, half-ass. This is the Imperial Fudge Cake Stout. Wow.
It's really good.
Yeah, it's really good. It's good.
Brewed with Beer City's breads, Mackinac Island fudge cakes thrown directly into the mash, this beer is a perfect sipper for the winter blues.
For the winter blues.
I got them fucking winter blues right now, dude.
We know.
I'm telling you, dude.
We all do.
Work has been just incredibly fucking annoying. Like, really, really annoying right now.
Yeah? You should blast them. Go ahead.
And I think the other thing is, man, like, and I don't know if you're the same way about this, but, like, it's when we get to February, that's when, like, the weather and everything really kind of, like, hits me mentally.
Oh,
like,
dude, I'm fighting it.
It's draining because we're so close. We're getting so close to, like, March, and that's usually, like, when things kind of, like, pick up a little bit. You know, you got the March Madness, you got the tournament, and you got baseball starting to pick up. I mean, you just start seeing more glimpses, little glimpses of 40-degree weather, maybe pushing 50.
Yeah,
maybe.
But we see that, and then what does it do the day after?
Mother Nature's like, hold my beer.
She
does the Lucy and just moves the football from Charlie Brown.
Yes. It's 4 seasons in the matter of a few days.
Yeah, dude, it's brutal. But I mean, I don't know, man. Like this week, it's just been a mixture of work and, like, again, it's this weather. Like, you know, even when it's like 10 degrees, if the sun is out, it cheers me up. Like, I get in a good mood. But like this last couple days, it's been gloomy, you know, rainy and cold and just gross. I mean, and it's really hard when you get to February because you're just like, we're getting so close, and it's depressing.
Well, I think so. I don't mind. I was actually happy for the rain. I don't mind the rain so much, but we haven't had a whole lot of sunlight around here the last few weeks, and that does take a toll, I think, on people.
It beats the shit out
even on me to some degree. But, like, you know, we got to remember that with March even coming up, we get into February, late February, we're bummed out. The weather's been shit. It's still cold. And then March comes and says, sorry, guys, we're not going to be March yet either, because, like, our Marches have kind of been long winters.
It's been about April now, mid to late April, before we start to really get that spring weather.
Right, that comfortable, like, I'm not kicking on the heater or anything like that. So,
dude, I'm opening the windows at like 55, 60.
Absolutely, all the time.
I open the window and, like,
get that fresh air in there.
Yeah, get that fresh. Get the stank out of the house.
Get your dick stank out of here.
Oh my God, I cleaned it for you.
Dick stank.
I dipped it in some bleach. Yes, is right. But what's going on with you, man? How's everything going on your end?
Fine, just the same. You know, it's been really busy with work and things like that. I haven't slept great this week, so I'm really fucking tired every day. And every day I wake up, I'm thinking, oh, I got some good sleep, and I didn't. And then so I'm just dying every day. But other than that, I mean, yeah, I can't complain. I mean, we had a fun weekend last weekend with Drassen in town. We actually, because of the weather, so after we left here on Saturday, we were like, we're gonna go to Oracle Brewing or something. Well, we drank throughout the day, and then we get back to the house and we're like, well, we're hungry, let's eat. And then he's even like, I'm comfortable just being in. And I'm like, yeah, it's cold. Like, I don't want to eat. So we just sat. We basically passed out. We sat there and we just watched fucking. We always end up doing this. Just watching videos on YouTube, and we just kept replaying like funny animal, cat, and dog videos from the last year. Shit's entertaining if you ever do that. That's a dive. I get hooked on it really bad. And we just sat there like half talking, and he's shitting his pants. It smelled like fucking god awful hell.
Yeah, you guys had a game of battle shits going on over here. Like you were really firing off rounds, and he was very reserved. But he said you were in trouble for later. So I'm assuming.
Oh, it's no. When somebody enjoys eating White Castle, their a-hole is not pleasant. No, not at all. So.
No, I was, dude. I crashed hard. Dude, we went out to dinner after you guys left. And went to Chili's.
Brave.
And dude, I'm sitting in Chili's, and it just hit me. I'm like, man, I'm fucking drunk. Like I was wearing a hoodie, and I was like, why is it so hot in here? Like I was just like uncomfortable. And we got home, and I was like, all right, we got to watch The Servant. And she's like, do you want to watch Ozark? And I was just like, I was done, dude. I was out.
Right.
And I slept for like 10 hours that night. I was like completely out.
Because Sunday you texted me like, dude, I just woke up. Like, what?
I slept like a champ because I just got so fucking trashed on Saturday. I didn't realize it, dude. I didn't realize it, but I think at some point, Dresden was like, "Did you drink that whole bottle and now you're on these cans?" I was like, "Yeah, I really was kind of hitting it hard."
Yeah, you went ham.
And that's why I don't want to do any more shows on Saturdays or Fridays, man.
I do.
It's fucking trouble. It is not good. Got a couple jokers in the chat. Half-ass said, Florida gave me a big boost of vitamin D. I've been feeling great.
Yeah.
And Josh Hill says it's 66 out right now. Windows are open.
Awesome. Good for you. So happy for you.
I hope your window gets stuck in the fucking rains like crazy and ruins your TVs and everything. But not your laptop, so you can still watch us.
Fair enough.
Watch us. You playing anything? Oh, wait. Let me guess.
Yeah,
Trails
you
of
can guess.
Cold Steel, Tom.
I am
6,000 hours now.
I am 3 battles away from the end of the game, and I've got about 123 hours in it right now. So
that is nuts.
That'll be done hopefully Friday.
No, I know you're not a big time trophy hunter. What are you at on that? Have you looked at that?
Oh, the trophies on there. It's a lot of grind for the trophies on that one.
Is it really?
Yeah. I mean, it originally was like on Vita in that era and stuff like that, and PS3. But like, yeah, the trophy grind on it it requires sometimes multiple playthroughs or reloading saves. I don't really care. Like
I don't like doing that. I don't like doing that either.
Yeah, there's some games where I'll chase trophies, and like my achievements on Xbox haven't even broke 50K yet. You know what I mean? Like, I beat games. I just don't trophy hunt like that. I never really was an achievement hunter or any of that shit. So, but yeah, I'm just trying to get that done so I can just focus on Horizon Forbidden West, which I've gotten a little bit of hands on, and we'll talk about that here a little bit. But yeah, really just that now, and everybody won't shut up about another game, and it's just like me. Just want to play some fucking Trails right now and get it done and get into that Horizon.
That's the struggle right now, because like last gen, that was my biggest issue, is I would play so many games but start them but never finish them because I was fucking around with Destiny 2.
Right. Everybody's informed on that.
And they know my transgressions and that. But like when I go to like this gen so far, I skipped the whole last season of Destiny 2. Now the Witch Queen came out to a lot of fucking praise. Like a lot of people are really hyping this up. I've only done the first story mission. But the general consensus on social media by a lot of people who are like Destiny 2 mains, that's all they play. They are saying this is Bungie's best attempt so far, by far, in terms of its narrative for the story and the Witch Queen. They've added the ability to play the campaign at different difficulties now, because typically you would just jump in, run the campaign, and there was no like legendary version or more difficult version. Now when you start the campaign, it'll tell you, do you want to play normal Destiny 2? Or do you want to play legendary? And obviously it's much more difficult, but you get much better loot and stuff like that. And we hopped into that last night, Piccolo and I, and it's challenging. And the fucking first mission played like a fucking dungeon, which is huge, because usually the missions in Destiny 2 are a little short, not terribly difficult. This played out like a fucking dungeon. You got multiple loot. There's multiple sections where you beat a mini boss. There's a couple of chests that pop up. Then you move to the next one. There's some mechanics involved with these, like the actual story structure. Really good, but by all accounts, the people who have finished the campaign or have gone through the main story mission say it's the best one they've ever done, which is no easy feat considering Forsaken was so well received.
Yeah.
What was the one? The King. I can't remember what it was, but they've had 2 good like campaigns that have been like celebrated. So it's pretty. But Big Thunder, thank you so much.
Appreciate you, dude. What up, dude? Callie.
Chrono says, I don't do that either, but I just watched you beat a target dummy to death the other night. Hey, look, sometimes there's trophies in Horizon. I believe there was a trophy in Horizon where if you beat if you destroy all the dummies in the world, you get a trophy. So as I'm playing Horizon Forbidden West, walking through, there's these dummies. And I'm like, well, I gotta fucking destroy all these.
I was beating them too.
You got to, but
Yeah.
I mean, normally I am not a trophy hunter.
That's
I like trophies. It just depends where I'm at when I get close to done. Like when I did Ghost of Tsushima, when I came close to beating the game, I was like, man, I only got it like 4 more trophies. And they were a little bit more like you had to find all the different, the foxes and the hideouts and all that stuff. Some of that stuff that's a little bit more difficult to find, but I was like, man, fuck it. I'm really close to the platinum on this, and I would really, really like to get that. So I went back to it, but it really just depends where I'm at. Like you said, at the end of the game, if there's something that requires me to play it again, I'm out. I'm not going to do it. Or if it's something that requires me to make multiple choices, I'm out. I'm not going to do it.
Trails right there.
But if it's something like grinding out stuff, multiple kills, find all these collectibles, and if I'm at the end of the game and I'm close on all those things, I will make it a point to go for the platinum.
Fair enough.
I think I love trophy hunting to a degree. But anything that requires multiple playthroughs, I can't do it anymore, man. I just don't have the time.
No.
So you've been playing Trails of Cold Steel. Now we're gonna talk a little Horizon Forbidden West because that's like the game that dropped out. Dude, talk about a fucking week of games. I can't think of the last time. I mean, I think there was one. What was it?
Was it the week when like Deathloop came out and like wasn't there a group of games? No, like Far Cry or something like that. Are you talking about last fall?
Dude, I'm talking about like a couple of falls ago. I don't even think it was last fall.
There?
There was a window where like 3 or 4 monster titles came out in like a week's time, and I was like, "Whoa, there's a lot going on." This is probably one of the more exciting weeks we've had in a while.
I would say definitely.
I mean, Horizon Forbidden West comes out on Friday, reviews incredibly well.
Yeah.
We've got Destiny 2: The Witch Queen dropped yesterday. That's being well received by a lot of people, and then Elden Ring comes out today.
Is it today?
Or I'm sorry, the reviews came out today.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
It drops on Friday, and it is widely regarded as the best reviewed game of all time. I mean, it's right up there with like Super Mario Odyssey on Metacritic and on OpenCritic. Like, it is ridiculously well received. But so we jumped into Horizon Forbidden West. I'm a little bit further ahead of you. But first impressions I want to get though from what you've played in terms of like the visuals and the gameplay itself.
Lost Ark. Yep.
Lost Ark is out. I mean, obviously Lost Ark was like 2 weeks ago. I'm talking about like this past week here, per se. But, I mean, Lost Ark is another really, really good game. But your initial impressions, I know, like I said, you're still kind of looking at not tutorial area, but the area where you're kind of getting introduced to some of the stuff that
like, when I booted up last weekend, and I think we talked about this on the last Saturday, but I just did the looking around like I always do. Like Uncharted is another series I always do. There's certain series where when I jump into them, I'm looking at the flora and fauna and I'm like exploring. Uncharted, to be fair, since its inception, has always had really good flora and fauna. It's just a usually gorgeous elements, environments, and that's what I was doing with this game. Really, at first, was just like, oh, look at this, oh, look at this corner, look at, and you just really like. I mean, it's gorgeous, and again, like they have done a great job of taking the critiques they've done. They clearly had and they've said this. They took a note of everything people critiqued and criticized.
Oh yeah,
and I feel like they went down this list of stuff and just the menus are similar to the first one, but like also like way more descriptive, which we needed.
Right.
Like now they've got classes, almost like a class builds and things like that. Like Jesus Christ! And then just again how gorgeous the game looks and how again the voice acting is, and now the face animations and the movements, everything feels and looks more natural instead of more robotic and kind of almost dead face. So yeah, I'm wish I just had more time this week. I would have, but I just got that arcade unit put together on Monday. So
which one was that?
The X-Men and Avengers one. The X-Men.
Oh yeah,
the old arcade, the X-Men. If everybody remembers growing up in the '90s playing arcades, and dating myself, but you could have up to 6 players at one time. I believe on some of the arcade units would have 2 monitors, and you could do like Colossus, Nightcrawler, Dazzler, Storm, etc. Wolverine. But yeah, Cap came over and got that put together this week, so fuck around with that. But anyways, that was originally gonna play Horizon that night, a little bit more and get more hands on that, but here we are. So I just want more time on that game really bad.
I can't blame you. And so yeah, I started streaming Horizon Forbidden West for the story time. I am at chapter 14 on Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm gonna try to get to that on Sunday night. Make my way through that. But the plan for Horizon Forbidden West was like, look, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna stream the main story missions, and then off stream when I'm like downstairs with the kids or just get a moment to
just
play,
doing side shit.
Just doing side quests and other activities around the world that that you can do in Horizon. Streamed the first couple of story missions on Monday, and yeah, like Tone said, it's just a beautiful looking
Absolutely
fucking
gorgeous.
game. I mean, gorgeous game. The combat it has improved. It feels like more impactful when I'm getting into the combat.
Dude,
like
the haptic.
yes, the haptic again with the
Jesus
PS5
Christ.
and the DualSense. Those haptic feedbacks, a lot of the stuff that you feel and pulling the trigger, and it's all very responsive and very immersive. But jumping into it, the story is very engaging. Like, I'm really curious to see what's ahead for Aloy as she moves out to the Forbidden West. You know, we're at a point where I think we're at a village or an area before you get into the Forbidden West. You have to open up an embassy that'll open up, and once that's open, it opens the gates and you can get out and explore more. So the only problem with that is like, you know, obviously I said I can't I can't play any main quests, just side stuff. And the other day I was playing, and the other night I was playing, and next thing I was like, I've done everything that I can do right now in this area. So every time I walk through like the map, I get to the point where it's like, here, you have to kill these things to progress the story. The main quest, I'm like, fuck, I can't do this right now. I have to wait. So I finally shut it off. Said, okay, look, I'm done with it for right now. But it is so beautiful. It is such a good looking game to look at. And, you know, and you talked about it, you know, before the show, we were talking about some of the changes that they made and how some things, you know, it looks like they added based off like Breath of the Wild. Now, I haven't gotten the paraglider yet, but I do know one thing that they added to this game is you can climb much more than you could in the original Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah, it's not restricted to just the yellow pieces and the little.
There are yellow pieces, but they're like, it's not like something simple like a ledge. You know, if you go up against some rocky like mountains, some of them will have like, you hold down the focus and you'll see little yellow X's, like you can grab onto this and then you can climb up the side. Now, it is it's cool to have that, but even then, not everything can be climbed. So it's kind of like, sometimes you'll see something like, I should be able to climb that, but you can't. And then you look at something that's like, no, I can climb that? Like, really? If there's one critique I have right now at the game is I feel like the climbing it takes too long. You know what I'm saying? It's the animation through it to get, you're climbing certain things, you're like, oh, I wish I could just fucking, you know, like, I keep thinking of like Dying Light 2. One of the perks is you climb faster. I'm like, where is this perk? I need to unlock this like right now. But that's my only like real critique of the game right now. It's just the climbing elements and just how certain things are climbable and some things are not. You're like, okay, it's kind of goofy. But other than that, what I've played so far, beautiful looking game. Look, the 4K 30 mode, it looks awesome. At 60 frames, the performance mode.
Gotta run that performance.
Chef's kiss. It's beautiful. It feels good to play. Again, when you're slowing down time and you're targeting parts of these dinosaurs or these robotic dinosaurs, it is so rewarding and it's so satisfying when you're blowing off all these pieces and you're using different types of ammo to trigger certain explosions on different parts of them. It is really like when it slows down, it almost turns like into a strategy RPG. Like you're really plotting, like, okay, I need to hit this in this order, and do all these different things. Or if I explode this thing, it'll also affect the other creatures nearby.
Right.
There's a lot to the combat when you slow things down and you really start to think about it. And obviously all the parts of the animals are important because they're all part of like upgrading abilities and crafting certain ammo types. So there's a lot to this game. And so far I've really dug what I played, but again, I'm not terribly far into it because I'm fucking waiting for Monday night to get here so I can jump back into the Storytime stream.
Up and up anymore.
But yeah, it's beautiful so far. Forward Chamber, what's going on? Jay Hill says too many heights already. Yeah, Jay Hill is not a fan of when these games where I have to climb up super high and I just look down and make them all dizzy and shit. So, and there are some pretty high points so far early on in the game. But again, man, there's been multiple times playing this game where you just stop and you just take in the sights.
Got to take it in. Yep.
Yeah, and it's just a beautiful looking game. It's gorgeous, and so far it's been a lot of fun to play. So. Looking forward to that, exploring that some more on Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on Banter Babble. Anything else you want to add, Tom, before we get to the first topic?
No, I don't got a bit.
Oh, just a quick reminder, there will be no show next Wednesday night because on Friday or Saturday next week and Sunday, we'll be live at the Midland Mall Comic-Con.
Absolutely.
Really excited for that. Make sure you stay tuned to our Discord and social medias. We'll let you guys know exactly the times we'll be going live. And like I said, if you can't make it to tune into the streams, it's totally cool. They'll all be on YouTube. They'll be all on Facebook. You can check out the interviews that we're going to do with some of the vendors that are going to be there. Really excited about that. But yes, no show, no community night, nothing next Wednesday. We need that open so we can prep and get things ready to go for when we hit out there Saturday morning.
And rest up.
Yeah, we need a lot of sleep. A lot of sleep. J Hill says, testament to the game. It makes me feel the way with heights in a game. Yeah, man. If it hits you, if you're up high, like, dude, Dying Light 2, there are some points where you're like, even I'm like, oh my God, I can't fucking, I can't do this right now. Way too high up. But again, it's just a testament to how well that game conveys that sense of like verticality and heights, and it's pretty gross.
I love that for sure. Yeah, Kronos, absolutely. I've been telling all of my friends and their families, like, bring your kids out and stuff like that. It's yeah, absolutely. You should definitely
bring
be
the
there.
kids out. It's no admittance, no fee to get in.
No
just come on out.
Yep.
There's going to be all sorts of vendors there. The 501st are going to be there. There's going to be like artwork. There's going to be D&D sessions with Drastin. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. And Node 4, just we're supposed to do one last year, but it's still, since COVID was a lot more of an issue at that time, we had to move it or cancel it and wait till this year. So, we're able to go this year, and hopefully maybe we can keep this going, and let's get bigger than Novi. That's my goal.
Okay, hear me out. What exactly is D&D?
Dungeons and Dragons. I think Moss is trolling.
Oh, is he trolling?
Might be.
Moss is trolling? No way.
Dungeons and Dragons.
I don't believe Moss will troll. All right, Tom, we've got some topics. Let's talk about our first one. We got a movie review.
Do we?
We do. And we're going to talk about Red Rocket.
Yeah, you know what? First of all, let's talk about the name.
Red Rocket.
Ever since South Park, that name will always mean something different to me, man. Ever since South Park, dude, they ruined Red Rocket for me. Just saying.
Okay.
Just throwing it out there.
It probably did ruin it for a lot of people.
I was gonna say, nobody else thought that when they heard that name. Like,
I mean, I did, but not as much. Obviously, not as much as you. Like, you've really been thinking about it a lot.
Absolutely. And I wanted to know what in this movie caused them, and I figured it out.
Oh yeah. We all figured it out. Yeah, we all figured that one out.
Figured it out.
Rocket is right. So this stars Simon Rex, Brie Alrod, and Susanna Sun. And this is about a washed-up porn star who returns to like his Texas home. He's like a shell of his former self, and he has to move in with his estranged wife and his mother-in-law until he can kind of get back up on his feet. And I heard about this movie because obviously it's gained a lot of attention. It was at Cannes Film Festival.
Was it a Sundance?
Yeah, it was a Cannes Film Festival, darling. A lot of people hyped it up there. Obviously, the biggest talk about this movie is the performance by Simon Rex, of all people, which is, I don't think anyone saw that coming. But the director of this movie, I think his name is Simon Baker. He actually, not Simon Baker, Sam Barker, I think it is. He wrote this movie with Simon Rex in mind. He wrote this with him in mind.
You can tell.
Oh, absolutely.
It's fucking like, yeah.
You didn't watch it on Pornhub. You watched, Mike Baber's Pornhub channel.
Saber.
It's Mike Saber's Pornhub channel. But no, this is a movie that it starts off like, you think this is going to be kind of like a dark comedy. You
don't really know.
He's a very mysterious character when he first shows up.
Yeah.
He basically shows up in this small town, which I thought was Gary, Indiana, by its industrial surrounding. Like, it's like this podunk town surrounded by like all this refineries and all this shit.
Yeah.
And so like he shows up, he's beaten to a pulp, and he's just trying to find a place. And so he moves in with his estranged wife and his mother-in-law. And he's trying to find work, and then it's he lets people. That's when you find out, this guy's a former porn star, and you're like, oh, okay, well, he's gonna have a hard time finding a job, and he struggles until he meets a lady who he knows, and he starts like selling dope for her.
Yeah, like, to be fair, like, in no pun intended, but unintended, his grind, like, he's driven.
Yeah, he's motivated.
He's a very motivated. He's got to grind multiple. Let me tell you. But yeah, he because I thought the movie was moving faster, and he'd be like, oh, it's been a week or 2 weeks. I'm like, damn, he moved fast on this shit.
Yeah, he did. It's a movie that, again, it's a low budget movie that's like shot guerrilla style, meaning like it's very small cast. A lot of these outside of like the main three, outside of like Simon Rex, Brie Alrod, and Susanna Sun, you can tell a lot of these people aren't like, I don't want to say they're experienced actors. These are like people that the director might know. Guerrilla style is like, it's low budget, a lot of one takes. Like if you go out, like if you have your actor, you've got your cameraman, And you're basically shooting even without a permit. You just go out to a locale and you're like, okay, look, we got to make this perfect. There's not a lot of people around. Let's go out, shoot this scene, and get out of there. So it's very raw. Man, this guy's like a fucking 12-year-old. Anyways, it's just how the movie is shot. You can tell this isn't like a big budget production. This is a low budget production.
Right.
But the reason that works is because it plays to Simon Rex's talents as an actor. Because there are a lot of one takes, and these are long shots that where he. If anyone has done any kind of acting, it's to sit there and do basically a monologue for most of your scenes is no easy feat, especially to keep yourself in character, know your motivation, and remember all that stuff without saying, what are my lines? I mean, these are a lot of one-shot takes, which is really impressive, and he is fully engaged in his character. Like Simon Rex is incredible in this movie.
I feel like this movie might not have like the sink or swim, like swam as well, float, whatever, had Simon Rex not been in mind or done this. I really don't. I don't know. Man, I don't know, because like this movie was captivating is a word I can think of.
Yeah, it was hard to look away. And not because of Red Rocket, but because of just the way it's the writing and the performance.
Dude, I don't know how to, we were talking about this a couple times, I can't. You have to watch this to know what it is. It draws you in, and you're just like, and maybe, excuse me, maybe it's because you don't know or realize where the story's going, and it keeps surprising you. And even when you start piecing it together, you are so I can't believe this is what's going on. You were just like almost at sometimes you're just slack jawed watching it. Like my jaw would just be open. I'm like, I can't believe this. This is nuts. Yeah. And that's kind of how the movie was for me. I was drawn into it the entire fucking time.
And again, it's a testament to Simon Rex because it's a low budget movie, because there's not a whole lot of talent around him, and for you to be dialed into this character, again, it speaks volumes about the performance he gives.
Yes.
Now, look, this basically he shows up in this town, he's selling dope, and he befriends this girl working at a donut shop who is not quite 18 yet.
Well,
and he becomes fascinated with her quickly.
Yeah. It becomes something else.
And look, this movie, it starts off with you think this is gonna be kind of this dark, witty comedy. There's gonna be some good lines, but then as his character unfolds more and you learn more about him, you realize that he is a very flawed character. He's a very flawed, troubled guy.
Everybody is in this too.
Everybody
he just happens to be more of a shitbag.
And you can tell he comes from a dysfunctional family. His dysfunctional life before he went into porn. And the industry chewed him up and spit him back out. Spit him out. Even his wife, his estranged wife, she was a porn star.
And spit it back out.
And she was spit back out. And again, once you kind of dive into some of the situations that he gets into, you start to see this. He's not a good guy. He has ambitions, but you can tell that the industry itself, the adult industry, has really just corrupted his moral compass. He is not a good dude.
It all was going, for the most part, I had no idea where this movie was going until the donut shop.
Yeah, once we got to the donut shop, and then you see him kind of obsessing over this girl who's not quite 18 yet, and you're like, oh, it's and that's one of the things about this movie is it can be a little cringe. It's a little unsettling.
It wants you to feel that uncomfortability because I think that's part of the allure to it.
Absolutely.
You're not sure, to the point where I had to say, I actually had to Google how old this actress is because I was like, it was making me feel uncomfortable. And thankfully, she is playing a 17-year-old, but she's actually 26 years old.
Yeah.
So I guess there's
it's funny. Half-ass says Red Rocket to the donut glazer. There are donut glazer jokes in this movie. He makes donut glaze jokes to the girl at the donut shop.
Plenty of So nice job on the writing.
But I mean, everything from going after this barely 18 girl, and then there's other characters that he kind of I don't want to say he betrays, but he throws them under the bus, and he celebrates when he realizes he's off the hook of something that happened.
Stepping stones, man.
And then he's also a hypocrite. He criticizes this one character for stolen valor and saying what he's doing is shitty, but then he does things himself throughout the movie, like lying about what he's doing in town and trying to impress this girl, lying to her about what he has and what he doesn't have, and you're just he's just kind of a hypocrite, kind of a shitty person. He's just a very corrupted person, even though he's trying to do right. He's trying to do right, but you can just tell he's just been corrupted to the core. And again, it can be a hard watch for some of the scenes, but ultimately, again, it's just the performance of him being somebody that you early on are trying to root on because he's trying to like get back into the swing of things, but then you realize he's too far gone. You know, he's just not going to be a good person. He has not learned his lesson, and he is just kind of dragged this girl into the same life that just chewed him up and spit him out. Mm-hmm. And that's, again, just one of his many flaws. And it's just so hard because you can tell he wants to be a good person, but ultimately he's just not a good person.
Well, and I think that you clearly this isn't a movie where you're like, oh, I'm rooting for the good guy. Let's go. You know, it's not one of those movies, not a feel good movie. But the guy, at the end of the day, he's a slippery fucking snake.
Yeah.
Because every time he's in a corner, he manages to sneak his way back out of it.
Yes.
Like, even everything, just generally overall, like, anything that he comes across, somehow he is surviving. And in a way, he is a survivor. He does it in a scumbag manner, but that's where it is.
Mm-hmm.
But, man, yeah, I just, like I said, I looked at it originally and said 2 hours and X amount of minutes. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Do I got time? Movie at 2 hours?
And I'm telling you what, I looked at one time the clock and I'm like, this is still going, but man, I'm like, I need more. Like, I had to pause. I almost pissed my pants because I didn't want to even pause it because I was like, so like, where is this shit going next?
Yeah.
Like, where is this going next? So, yeah, I definitely recommend it to everybody to look at it. Just know going into it that it might make you a little uncomfortable. It's meant to do that. But man, yeah, I was really surprised with it. And the last thing I'll say about that as well too, and don't do this right now, clearly, because you're watching your favorite show. But if you at all are familiar with the music video Dirt Nasty, which Simon Rex sings, it's a very classic, probably 10, 15-year-old music video about a character named Dirt Nasty. I swear to fucking hell Christ, and this is why this was written for him, because this feels almost like a biopic for that character. And when you watch the video and think about it in that scope, I can't even get the song out of my head right now. But you need to watch the Dirt Nasty video. It's pretty raunchy.
So watch it as
funny.
Like a precursor to this. Like watch that.
Yeah, because
everything up.
Because I think that's why it helped me be so into the movie and be so familiar with Simon Rex. So this is a video that I will watch like once a month. Just because
you know what I want to do? I almost want to watch the director commentary and see if he mentions I drew some inspiration because of Dirt Nasty, and I imagine this being Dirt Nasty in the future.
I wonder. Yeah, who knows? That'd be fucking funny because Dirt Nasty is all about cocaine and women. And it's pretty fucking raw. It's a funny music video, but I mean, clearly a parody. But did that spawn this? I don't know. Like, I almost kind of wondered. That would be interesting. To see,
Christ,
so.
What's the other movie this guy isn't even known for? Was a Scary Movie 3?
There's been like dumb little shit here and there. I mean, his notoriety, as you know, came from MTV many years ago. But he also had a what was that I was telling you too, like a jerk off porn video sometime in like the early 90s or late 90s.
Like how he's playing stupid. Like
I
think he had something. It's on his fucking laptop.
So I wouldn't keep that on my laptop. But cool. Way to assume things, but
I mean, no, honestly, God, like before this movie, I know very little about this guy, and all I know right now is after seeing this movie, he's an incredible actor. Like, he is really good, and I don't know if we'll ever see him in something like this again, or if we'll ever get this opportunity again. I hope he does, because again, you're taking a movie that's low budget, that's not a whole lot of talent around him other than the other main two characters, and for you to be locked in for 2 hours because of how good he is on screen, man. That's a testament. Now, I know he didn't get nominated for an Oscar or a Golden Globe, but a lot of those mid-tier awards, he's nominated for just about all of them. I mean, he cleaned up with nominations, so it's a renowned performance that a lot of people are really, really big fans of, even though some of the subject matter is a little unsettling, so it might not make a lot of people comfortable, but it's a depressing movie in some ways when you think about it.
Yeah.
It can be very depressing.
It's the rise and fall of Dirt Nasty for me.
Rise and fall of Dirt Nasty, a.k.a. Red Rocket. And yes, you do see a Red Rocket in this movie.
There's some peepees.
There's some ding-dongs. All right. We're going to keep talking about movies. Tone, we've got some trailers.
Very excited.
These are trailers courtesy of Jay Hill.
Yeah.
Because we hadn't seen a whole lot of trailers, and he kept sending me messages like, dude, I fucking don't know where we missed this, man.
Yeah, he was the first one.
Yeah, he's sent both of these over. Like,
how did we miss this?
I didn't see it. How do we miss this? I was like, I don't know. So, we have a couple of trailers here. Let's talk about the first one. This is a remake or another reimagining.
I'm sold. Whatever. Give it to me. It's not 1985.
Of the Stephen King book, Firestarter.
Yes.
Let's take a look.
All right, let's go.
Daddy.
What's going on, sweetie?
Something feels weird. Something's changing.
You remember the tools we taught you, right?
Pencil, desk, paper, shoes. You're weird. Everything okay, Charlie? It happened again.
What happened?
The bad thing.
If you ever start to lose control, what do you do?
It didn't work.
She's not a robot, Annie. She's a little girl. With little girl emotions, which are wildly unpredictable.
Charlie?
She just has to shove it down and keep it hidden.
Our responsibility is getting her ready.
Our responsibility is to protect her.
Charlie?
If they catch her, they're gonna put her in a cage.
Charlie?
They're gonna run tests on her for the rest of her life. We'll never see her again.
If who catches me?
Something's happened. I need it handled with discretion. And I need her back alive.
Holy shit. Do you know what it means to be on the run?
Bad men are after us. Really bad.
I hate living like this!
You're special, Charlie.
I'm not special, I'm a monster! Charlie!
I want to help her.
You want to use her. Charlie?
Don't be stupid.
Where's Mommy?
Do you feel that? Let her go or it's gonna get a lot worse.
Where's Mommy? Tell me now!
She's the first of her kind. A real life superhero.
You need to understand how to use it. It can't be a reaction. It's gotta be a decision. That's the only way that you can control it.
She's becoming a young woman.
I'm not going to jail.
And someday soon,
You gotta change the world.
she may be capable of a nuclear explosion.
Run, Charlie! On your knees!
Simply with the force of her mind.
The whole world going to hell. Promise me that you'll never use your gifts to hurt people.
I'll only hurt bad people, I promise.
Trust me, Charlie. You don't have to be afraid. Please, I can help you.
Liar, liar, pants on fire. I don't want to hurt anyone, but it feels kind of good.
Well, shit.
Sign me up. Sign me up.
And that's awesome. This is gonna be streaming on Peacock as well. So it's not only in theaters, it's also gonna be streaming on Peacock as well. Look, man, like,
Trick.
like
You're right.
the original Firestarter with Drew Barrymore and David Keith. You know, say what you will about it. It was campy at times, but it was fucking dope.
It's fucking iconic as shit. There's some scenes in that where I will never forget as a child or an adult.
And again, that was a testament to Drew Barrymore at the time. She was a star in the making.
Oh yeah,
like, she was really, really good.
Awesome.
But this again, it's always tricky with these remakes and these reboots. If they're respectful to the source material, not so much the movie itself, but the book, and it has some of the same elements that made the original movie so endearing and so enjoyable to a certain following of folks. This has a lot of potential. Now, look, I know, Zac Efron is funny in Neighbors, but he was in another movie called Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile, where he was playing Ted Bundy on Netflix, and he is incredibly good at that. Like, Zac Efron's a funny guy, but when he needs to go drama, like you're going to need from his character in this movie, I dig that casting. I like Zac Efron in this type of role. Now, whether or not Rhian Kiera Armstrong as Charlie is going to have the same swagger and charm as Drew Barrymore, we won't know until we go see the movie, until we watch it. But look, dude, anytime somebody's imbued with some kind of superpower, whether it's something they can control right away or it takes them a while to get the hang of it, but anybody that can just basically combust anything with a thought is appealing. This is a superhero movie. This guy's like an action thriller.
Or villain.
She could be a villain as well. But Tone, your thoughts on the trailer, man?
I'm the Firestarter. Twisted Firestarter.
Oh, man, that's a good one.
Yeah. No. Exactly. No, I am so on board for this. And listen, like, I know that, again, like, it's really tricky with these sort of things. You got to be careful. But we look at It, for instance, that was You know, I love the campy 80s Tim Curry. I still enjoy that. I still do love that, and
He's
I will.
the only redeeming quality of that movie.
But you know, I just because of what it was for me as a kid, like I will still enjoy that. But you take and do what they did, which was, you know, remake that again, but keep it closer again, more closer to the source material, and look how darker and creepier and more grounded it was. And I think that's what's going to happen here. Like,
I hope so.
That's what your point, I think, is the big deal for me, and this is always something that I'm going to be a big fan of as well too. Like, can we keep this closer to the source material? Can we keep drawing in those original fans, those core fans that made these things successful enough to have these things, but yet also make it enough to where everybody else can enjoy it as well too.
Exactly.
And again, and I want to say this about Zach. I think, like, listen, these guys, anytime that somebody like Zac Efron, or like, even I would go back to like guys like James Vanderbeek, people who have the ability to make fun of themselves in open, I really appreciate that, for one, because I feel like there's a lot of people in Hollywood that kind of get into that, like, that airness of their a celebrity, they know it, that kind of thing. But he clearly has that range. So I want to see guys like him get these roles, because everybody else needs to realize that as well too. Like, yes, he will always be High School Musical sweetheart to you. Mine will be Vanessa Hudgens first, but still Zach would be number 2. But yes, we want to see more of these sort of things. And honestly, just looking at this trailer, like Trick said, you kind of got this Drew Barry. I definitely agree with that as well too.
She's got, like I said,
there's some vibes in there. Yep, there's some vibes in there. So man, I'm telling you, like, when you sent this trailer to me after Jay found it, I was like, oh, hell yeah. Because like I said, as a kid, I loved Firestarter, so the original.
Cuddle says, I think this is a good one to remake because it doesn't quite have the lore of, like, Leatherface, Michael, shitty movies that have
fair. I mean, that's actually kind of that's a valid
even
point.
Then, dude, like, if you look at the original Firestarter, it is not like it's. I want to say it's almost kind of like a niche audience that enjoys that. It wasn't a big time budget, big hit at the box office. It faced some harsh criticisms, and again, I think that's part of the problem with a lot of Stephen King's movies back in the 80s. He's only had a few movies that have really been, like, you know, well received out the gate, you know. But I mean, even then, the campier ones like this or Silver Bullet, these are movies that I think are fucking awesome movies, even though they're a little hokey and they haven't aged particularly.
I say a lot of his are hokey, but the book fans typically, I guess it's kind of split, but
and I think at the time back in the 80s and stuff, it's hard to take somebody like Stephen King, where his stories are very dark, and bring them to the big screen and have people be like, "Oh, I enjoyed that,"
right?
Because a lot of his stories are dark.
Langoliers, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of his stories are dark.
Oh yeah,
themes, and
they
it's
all
really
are.
difficult to bring all that shit forward back in. Now now. You can take that risk, especially if it's something on like a streaming service like Peacock or Netflix or anything like that. You can take bigger risks because you're also reaching a wider audience, and people aren't like, I have to pay $30 to go to the theater to see this. I can watch it at home, and kind of you're reaching a wider audience, and you're appealing to them because you're not pulling the punches, and you are respecting the source material. You know what I'm saying? So I have a lot of, like, high hopes for this. I like the casting. Again, I like Zac Efron. This little girl, it looks like she could channel her Drew Barrymore but still make the character her own. I think this looks pretty good,
dude.
I'm
sold, man. I'm very excited about this, actually.
So this is May 13th. It'll be in theaters, but it'll also be available streaming on Peacock. So it'll be really interesting to see again how that works out, because I think that's what they did with Halloween. The last Halloween was on Peacock as well. I think that's where we watched it, as opposed to
watch it in the theater, watch it on the cock.
Watch it on the cock. God, fucking gross. All right. So now the next trailer, again, courtesy of Jay Hill, stars Chris Pine, Ben Foster, and Kiefer Sutherland.
That already sounds like a win.
And it's an espionage thriller, so immediately you're like, so is this another 24?
Yeah, what I said.
Could easily be interpreted as a spin-off movie of the show 24. But let's check out the trailer for The Contractor.
Who was a better soldier, you or my dad?
Careful.
Come on, let's go.
Did you actually see my dad's wife?
Yes.
We looked after each other.
Kind of like brothers.
Yeah, kind of like brothers.
James, they're cleaning house. You're leaving the Army with an honorable discharge, but you're losing your pension and health care.
We gave them our minds, our bodies, and our spirit. And they chewed us up and spit us out.
I just want to check in with y'all on your past due payment. Message deleted.
What you did in uniform, sledgehammer shit. Our thing, scalpel work. We operate a deep black OGA offshoot with direct presidential authority.
Bank some decent cash, put a down payment on the house. It's not dangerous.
Now I know you're lying.
Baby, I need to take care of my family.
So what do you say? You down for the cause?
Yeah. Salim Mohammed Mohsen. Study pathogenic influenza viruses in humans. We all know what one motivated radical can do. So let's cowboy up, get it done, and get home to our families.
You don't understand what you're doing. I'm trying to save lives. This is only about money. What do we do, Mike?
I've got an extraction team, Brown BMW X1. Comply?
I'll do that when you confirm who you're working for.
You work for me. You gotta trust me. I am trying to help you.
Oh, we're working for the president of a corporation.
Get in the car!
They train us to run their errands, kill their enemies, and kill each other. It's easy to kill, but it's much harder to survive. Need to get back home. Home's a memory.
He's gonna come after you with everything he's got.
I'm going home.
Woo!
Yeah, I'm sold on that too.
I saw
God
producers
damn.
of John Wick, and I was like perked up. I was like, okay,
Yep.
okay. No, dope looking trailer. I feel like this is one of those movies though where it could be really good,
Yep.
or really bad.
Right.
What was the one with Michael B. Jordan that we watched?
That was the
Tom Clancy one. The name escapes me. Again, it was a decent flick, but
didn't stick the landing very
didn't
well.
quite stick the landing. That's what I feel like this is. This could be really good or without remorse. Thank you, Jay Hill. And those are the vibes that I got from this trailer. Like, it's going to be tactical. It's going to have some good action. Obviously, the John Wick producers are involved, and they don't fuck around when it comes to action. Waterworld.
Clearly.
Yep. But no, I like the casting. Ben Foster's really good. Chris Pine's really good. Kiefer Sutherland, legend.
Yeah, a legend.
So, I mean, well, it just depends on how good the action is in the story. I think it's a promising premise. I like anytime you're looking at like big pharma or corporations doing shady shit, stuff like that. I think that stuff's
who you
appealing.
working for?
Yeah, who are you working for? Are we working for the president? Are we working for a corporation? That's intriguing stuff. I think that's really cool. Now, if the action's lame and limp-wristed like a fucking Bruce Willis movie, I'm going to be severely disappointed. But, like I said, the casting here is really good. These guys know how to do action. Ben Foster plays a perfect sneaky bad guy. I like Ben Foster. I think Ben Foster's really good. Him and Chris Pine were in a movie a couple years ago called Hell or High Water with him, Chris Pine, and Jeff Bridges.
Yeah.
If you've never seen that,
Oh, yeah.
that is a fucking dope-ass movie.
There you go.
If you guys have not seen Hell or High Water, make sure you check it out. Chris Pine, Ben Foster, Jeff Bridges, fucking awesome-ass movie. So Ben Foster's a really good actor. Are we going to get like 5 minutes of Kiefer? Is Kiefer the new Bruce Willis in this movie? He's just phoning shit in, show up.
At least he tries to act.
At least he tries to
He looked
act.
like he was acting in this at least.
Bruce Willis slander will not be tolerated. Clearly, Brian has not watched. Hey, Brian, go watch Cosmic Sin and then come back and talk to me.
Time out. Hey, since Looper, why don't you go back and see what's come out since Looper that's actually gotten good buzz or reviews?
70 movies have come out since Looper.
Since Looper. Look, I'm serious. Look it up. Look at what's come out after Looper for Bruce Willis, and look what's been successful.
Brian, I grew up in the 80s and 90s. I loved Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis was a fucking icon. Okay? Die Hard. I mean, a lot of his movies are movies that I fucking love. Sixth Sense.
G.I. Joe.
Okay.
Just kidding.
Fifth Element. I mean, he's made some fucking iconic movies. My man has fucking gone to shit. His movies are trash.
He's hung it up.
But I mean, I actually looked at Bruce Willis' IMDb page and was shocked how many movies he has out. Dude, they're all. Here's the thing, though, man. He's actually got a pretty good, nice gig going. He gets $1 million for every one of these movies he makes.
That's why he's doing it.
That's why he's doing it. He has to shoot 5 minutes, like 5 or 10 minutes. He's on. He gets like he's there for a day, and he shoots all of his scenes. And if you watch a lot of these movies, the scenes where his character is talking to another character off screen, it's not Bruce Willis. Like, he literally shows up for one day, shoots his scenes, and they market it as like, this is a Bruce Willis movie. He's in it for 5 minutes, and then it's just push it out there. And people, and for whatever reason, Netflix, all this shit. Leave Bruce alone, damn it. No, Brian, I won't. Because I was a staunch Bruce Willis fan. I am scarred. Ever since Kevin Smith talked about what he was like working with on Cop Out, I've lost all respect for Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis is a piece of shit. And I'm a Bruce Willis fan, and it hurts me to say that. But after I watch Cosmic Sin, I'm not watching any more Bruce Willis movies, ever.
No.
And Brian, I guarantee you, if you go watch Cosmic Sin on Netflix right now, it's 80-some minutes. You'll lose respect for Bruce Willis.
You won't get your 80 minutes back, I can tell you that right
You
now.
ain't getting your money back either. It's just, he's lost his way, Brian. Bruce Willis has lost his way. And I was a huge Bruce Willis fan. I mean, he was right up there with like the Harrison Fords, of my childhood. And he fucking sucks. His movies are trash.
Ain't no Corbin Dallas anymore.
Now, I hope this movie's good, though. I think this good trailer. It looked exciting. It looked, good action. And obviously the people involved, both in front of the camera and behind it, they all know what the fuck they're doing.
Chris Pine's awesome.
Chris Pine is actually really underrated. I actually really like Chris Pine.
Big fan.
What's the one with him and Denzel on the train? You ever see that Runaway? Is it Runaway Train or something like that? Look, oh God, what's that called? Does anyone know?
No, I don't know, but that sounds awesome too.
Wait, I think I confused Bruce Willis with Jason Statham. You definitely confused him for Jason Statham.
Pretty wild, if so. I do like Jason
Unstoppable.
Statham,
Unstoppable is the movie with
Unstoppable. Yeah.
Well, again, just an awesome Chris Pine flick.
Okay, yeah.
Good stuff indeed. I'm excited to check this out. It'll be I think this is in theaters. I don't think this one's streaming. So, all right, Tone, we've got some gaming news.
We do got some gaming news.
And last weekend, Capcom had a teaser up. They had a countdown timer.
The clock had been up for a week or so. Am I correct on that?
It had been up for a while, but I don't think anyone noticed it. They were just like, oh, okay.
A lot of speculation.
A lot of speculation about what it was going to be.
Yep.
People were talking, oh, is it a Resident Evil remake? Is it Street Fighter 6? What is it? But everyone was like, why is this fucking timer running out at like 1 o'clock in the morning?
Originally supposed to be midnight, and they pushed it to 1 a.m.
Yeah, and something happened, like the timer was stuck at 1 minute, and like it just sat there for like an hour. It was really bizarre.
Yeah.
How bizarre?
How bizarre.
Very bizarre. But let's talk about this, dude. We talk about the Capcom. Finally, we got the reveal. Now, was it what everyone was hoping for? I think so.
I mean,
to some degree.
yeah. I mean, for me.
I think, but the first thing that we saw was this trailer for Capcom Fighting Collection.
Yeah.
This is set to come out on June 24th for $39.99 on just about every platform.
That's what it was, Brian.
Everywhere. What do you say?
Supposed to. You're right. I did see that on Twitter.
It's supposed to line up at the end of the Capcom Cup, but the match went long. Okay, yep. He's right. And so Capcom Fighting Collection, this will drop with 10 games, Tone.
Yeah.
We're getting Darkstalkers.
Yeah.
Night Warriors, Darkstalkers Revenge.
Yeah, which is all night. Yeah. No.
Vampire Savior, the Lord of Vampire.
All Darkstalkers shit. Yeah.
Vampire Hunter 2, Darkstalkers Revenge.
Stuff I don't think came domestically on this side.
A lot of this stuff did not make it over to the States. Vampire Savior 2, Cyberbots Full Metal Madness, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo.
Yeah.
Hyper Street Fighter 2 Anniversary Edition.
Oh, man.
And Super Gem Fighter Mini Mix.
Damn.
There's a lot of games in this collection, dude. And a lot of people were really excited about this. Brian says Darkstalkers, that's what they called me in college. I don't think it was a compliment.
Smart
my
ass.
goodness. I love how Brian just puts his business out there,
He
man.
does.
He doesn't fuck around, dude. But Tone, you're a fan of fighting games. Obviously, you've got what's your thoughts on the collection here?
No, it's exciting as fuck. Look at that. That's from fucking Super Nintendo right there. That so fucking makes me horny. But no, I'm hype. Darkstalkers is a Capcom series that has never been giving enough love from Capcom. And I get it. Street Fighter just pushes more and harder, and I get it when they're fighting, but we need more Darkstalkers. Darkstalkers is just, very similar in controls, but it's just a lot of fun characters, a lot of iconic characters, a lot of love. It was huge in the arcades. It never really got enough light in the day here on our side of the world. So I'm really excited for this. Just generally, I mean, it's 35-year anniversary. That's hype as shit, right? Like, we got 10 great games, some that's never been over here. So I'm fucking ready. Like, I'll probably be picking this up and playing some Darkstalkers, and then after the next one, it's going to put me into quite a predicament because I still haven't tested because I'm scared. But we'll talk about that in a moment. But this is going to be on all platforms. I believe even Switch. Is that right?
I think it's everywhere.
Yeah, I think this will be everywhere.
PS4,
Steam,
PS5, Xbox, Switch, Steam.
Everywhere.
They're putting this out everywhere.
So it's really exciting. More Darkstalkers. I mean, like, I can't even think of the last time I actually played a Darkstalkers, to be fair. This was one of those ones where when I would play a fighting game in the arcade, I'd pump a lot of quarters into Darkstalkers. always.
Big Thunder says he's downloading for sure. Seven Dungeon says Switch would be really good as long as you're playing with the Pro controller and not the Joy-Cons, that weak ass D-pad.
Yeah.
Do you even call that a D-pad, or is that just 4 buttons?
You need a stick, anyways, for Capcom games, in my opinion.
Ooh, you do need a stick. You and Pick are the same way, man. You guys love your sticks, man. You gotta have that stick.
When it comes to quarter circle games, absolutely.
Oh man, I dig it.
Yep.
And so that wasn't the only announcement. Everyone was like, "No way, that can't be it." Nope. Here is the real talk.
The real talk.
Street Fighter 6. All we got. Yeah, Big Thunder agrees. The stick is a must. Gotta have that stick.
Gotta have that stick, yo.
So Street Fighter 6 was announced.
Mm-hmm.
We know very little about it other than we got like a 30-second trailer, not even a fucking gameplay trailer, just Ryu and his junk. Apparently you can see his junk.
Yeah, his wang, apparently he's doing some, he's bulging.
And the only reason we know that is because Tone stopped the trailer multiple times, zoomed in, and wanted to see some junk. And
some bulging.
I watched the trailer, I didn't see his junk, okay? So it's whatever. But Tone, now look, Street Fighter 5, that launched, and it had some issues at launch.
Yeah, Street Fighter 5 is still kind of trash to me. I actually don't really play that. I played
trash?
I still play I go back to Ultra on
was
PS4.
that 4? Street Fighter 4?
Super Street Fighter 4 Ultra. I prefer that over 5 still. I did play 5 for a little while online. I think it would be ranked, I don't remember, but it was all right, but my main character is always going to be Ryu, so like they weakened him in 5 compared to 4, so I was kind of salty about it. And I just, there were so many problems with it. I never really went back to it a whole lot. And listen, Capcom has much of my gil and gold coins and clamshells from Street Fighter 4, because when I played that from 2008 when that came out and it kept iterating like more costumes, I would buy all the packs.
Oh, really?
All the packs. And so I don't even want to calculate how much money I spent in that fucking game. But we at that time we had a group of us, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of us that would play, and everybody bring over the stick, and we would just rotate. If you could get, the guys I was playing with were competitive level, like I wanted to be, but these guys are really good. But we would just all get together some nights at my old place and drink till like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, right, with our sticks and be playing. So, 5 was really excited for 5 to come out, and then 5 just kind of, bummed me out. So I just went back to Ultra 4.
It was missing, if I remember correctly, 5 launched with a lot of features that people would expect from a Street Fighter game. Like it launched kind of bare bones.
Very bare bones.
They've iterated upon it and improved it since then. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if it really picked up. But it's still a part of Evo. Like it's still...
no. There's people that still play it. It just, again, if you're like, listen, I play a lot how like a lot of folks typically play if they want to be even competitive. You have one main character and maybe you got 1 or 2 backup players you like to fuck around with. I have one main character that I play. I want to try and be perfect with that character. I'm not going to try and learn another fucking character or 2.
Sure.
So I always play with Ryu. So when 5 came out and Ryu was not as strong as he was in Ultra 4,
mm-hmm,
I was not interested in that shit. So
it was that off-putting, like you were like,
yeah, oh, absolutely. So I just, the guys that I played with that are semi-competitive or were at one time,
mm-hmm,
one of the main guys, he was straight up like, yeah, I don't even play 5. He's like, I end up buying Ultra 4 and replaying that on my PS4.
Really?
So I just did the same thing.
Interesting.
Bought a $150 Hori stick to play too. And that's my problem right now. I haven't tested it yet. I don't know if that works in the PS5, but I know they announced some new sticks for the 5.
We do have some new sticks that are set to release. Brian mentions, I just need to see Yuri in these new graphics. And it's interesting because the trailer that we got, again, it's not like in-game, but the character models, these look different.
They're
very similar to the character models in Resident Evil, so there's a lot of speculation that this might be running on the Resident Evil engine.
Yeah, I wonder how real, because I really love all like the Ultra 4 and like even 5 and some like that very like that I don't know how to explain it. It's a very, very like it's a beautiful palette. I think 4 is a beautiful game. And 5 kind of continue that tradition. So I am wondering too if 6 is going to go more into like not overly realistic, but a little bit more of that kind of realm. Like, is it going to be a little bit darker? What's it going to look like? So I'd be on board for that too. I just really like the art design that they went with 4 on 4.
And we go back to let's go down to what Chrono said because I brought this up between you and Prime, and you guys kind of went back about this the other day. He says, Chrono says, Killer Instinct needs some love.
Killer Instinct is a very, as far as the fighting games, it's more niche than everything else. Like, it does need some more love, but the way that they handled that with Rare and Xbox, I think Rare had to handle it. The way that Xbox handled that was terrible, and that's why that game never really grew or got huge. I mean, you were gatewall, or what's the word? Paywalled on certain characters. They only released a few characters here and there. Dead or Alive 4 did that too, and if you're a Dead or Alive player, that's a whole other conversation to have. But they did the same shit, and by the time you would have all the characters, you were paying like $80 to $100 to have everything unlocked. And Killer Instinct kind of did some of those bits as well too. So while Killer Instinct is awesome and fun, the character designs are cool. It's realistically, it's not Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter. It just wouldn't hold a candle to them.
Do you think the fact that Killer Instinct, which is not a part of Evo, plays a big part of that? Why Microsoft maybe hasn't invested so much in it? Because I feel like Evo, if you want your fighting game to be relevant, you have to be a part.
You
of
want
Evo.
Something that somebody in the competitive world is going to pick up and play. I mean, I think that it might have had some of its day probably in some of those kind of circles, but at the end of the day, like when you're more worried about how much money you can make off the game instead of making a great game, I think that can affect those kind of things as well too. And like, listen, Killer Instinct is fun to play. It really is. It's always been fun to play, but it's not gonna be Evo.
What do you think? What do you like in terms of its gameplay and the fighting mechanics? What keeps it from reaching the echelon of like Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter?
There are people that play that, but like I just think that overall, like Street Fighter, just generally when it comes to, and even the Mortal Kombats over the last decade that they really revamped, they're just made so well. People have been doing it so long, and just these guys just know, like it's a mechanics thing partly, Killer Instinct plays somewhat similar to Street Fighter, but it's just got different. You're more concerned about like how long you can get your ultra combos and keep them juggling in the air and stuff like that. So you could literally, like, as a player, get knocked up in the air and have like a 70-hit combo and just be sitting there like this, like
just set your controller down,
just waiting. Yeah, I mean,
wait for the next round,
right? And but that's what you want. I mean, that can happen in Street Fighter as well too. That's a really good way to whip everybody's ass, and Tekken as well too. So I mean, yeah, just when it comes to fighting games, there are just certain developers that they're another level, and they always will be.
I guess it sounds like Star Mystique is on another level too. She said, "Tone, I'm going to kick your ass in Street Fighter in Real Life Edition." Cracks knuckles.
Jesus,
man, she comes out swinging, bro.
Swinging in here, dude.
She always comes out swinging. Tone, you ever watch the Street Fighter live action YouTube series?
It's fucking gnarly because they do that whole series was originally pieced together. That was actually a really good series that hardly anybody has watched, and how they kind of dive into the Dark Hado and everything with Akuma, dude, that is very, very badass, dude.
Tone, I got you, brother. We will get her double dragon style.
There you go. Yeah, yeah.
Man.
Bats and knucks.
Bats and nuts.
You're about to get knuckled, Star.
So now the big question, obviously, right now, a lot of people are trying to figure out, because obviously
here's the big question.
We didn't get shit for information off of this game. We don't know if it's going to be cross-gen. We don't know if it's going to be next-gen only.
Any of this shit.
But the big question is, obviously, with Street Fighter V, Capcom was having some financial issues with that game, and at that time, Sony had stepped up and said, look, we'll fund this. We'll make this happen, and it ended up being a PlayStation exclusive. Now the question is Street Fighter VI going to come to Xbox consoles, PC, and whatnot, and all that stuff? But is this going to be an exclusive to PlayStation again? Now there are some folks out there that managed to dig into some, and I don't know how credible this is.
Sure,
but some people have dug into there was a leak. I apologize. There's a leak. Capcom was hacked at one point, and it showed that Street Fighter VI was going to make its way to Xbox consoles and PlayStation as well. What do you think overall? I mean, based on the history of the series and what we're looking at,
I hope that it is everywhere in crossplay. That's what I want. Cross-platform, whatever. If I had to throw money down and do a bet, I would say this would be PlayStation exclusive. I just feel like the fact that Sony owning Evo,
Sony does,
and like I was telling you, when it comes to fighting games, they always choose a hardware, and that's what they roll with when they play. They could they could pick PC, but I think 5 is PC and PlayStation crossplay. I feel like that, it's a better move they put on Xbox, but just like the last generation, the Sony system is outselling more, so that means most of those players
platform and all that jazz.
Those players, and the fact that again they have Evo, I just think that if Sony has the ability, they're going to try and keep this one with them as well too. Because if you look at the entire generation, 360 generation, that was different. 360, when you go to tournaments, they were playing Street Fighter 4 on an actual Xbox 360, not PlayStation 3. PS4 changed, and people have been playing mostly on that, of course, since they had 5. I think they're going to want to continue that because, again, it just comes to locale. I think partly Capcom's a Japanese company.
Sure.
It's always been something that just feel like that always had either originally predominantly on Nintendo and then kind of more PlayStation notoriety. I just feel like that this is something, since they have Evo. If you're gonna do Evo every year, right? What would it look like if you had Xbox up there and Sony owns Evo, right? Like that's like going to a Ford showcase and showing off all the Chevy vehicles, kind of thing. So.
Sure. I think, and I think you make some good points there.
Chronos,
and based
funny,
on the
though.
past, I think that's a good point too, considering, the Japanese elements and all that stuff. But I do feel like this will come to all platforms because Sony owns Evo. Yeah, it might come out on Xbox, but if Sony owns Evo, they're gonna be like, "Look, we're just gonna play on PlayStation
They'll just
platforms."
play on the PlayStation 5.
And if you have all the biggest players in the world who are going to be at Evo playing on PlayStation 5 because they want to get familiar with the controller, they want to get familiar with the system and how it runs there, and they're going to start talking about how they're playing on PlayStation 5. All the people who are fans of that are going to be like, well, I'm going to get it on PlayStation 5. So even though it's going to be promoted on PlayStation 5 and they'll have that at Evo on PlayStation 5, I think getting it out to Xbox outside of Evo would be important for the economy or the community,
right,
and the system. So I mean, even if it comes out on Xbox, which I do think it will do, it's not going to impact the sales of it because eventually, at the end of the day, it's going to be marketed on PlayStation. It's going to be featured at Evo on PlayStation, and all the best players in the world are going to be playing on PlayStation, so they can play that.
Yeah, and my hope is that it is. I'd rather have more people, and it's simply for the reason that that like I want to play guys like Ant House that play Street Fighter. Like he'll probably get it on Xbox. I want to be able to play with my friends that do have a system. I want that. I'm just saying for me, for them, and for everything that they've gone through with Street Fighter 5. Like I just don't see like there's a necessity for them to do that overall, and maybe they will, and I hope they do because that would be good for just Street Fighter in general, right? But I just feel like this is one of those kind of smaller niche titles that is that while niche also has like a cult following, and there's a huge group that are diehard fans when it comes to fighting games. I feel like that's something that they might want to gatekeep on. Like, Call of Duties and things like that would be different because it's more lucrative money-wise to put it on everywhere else.
Right.
But if, say, you do put it on Xbox and all of a sudden they decide to throw it on Game Pass, I don't know.
I don't think the thing is, like, if it came down to that, if Capcom, had worked with PlayStation and whatnot, I just don't know. If PlayStation has the marketing, I don't think PlayStation would be like, oh, look, we'll handle the marketing, but you're not going to put that shit on Game Pass. They will work that stuff into the contracts. We've seen that before in the past, the stories that come out. If PlayStation's handling the marketing, they don't have to worry about this thing being on Game Pass. It's not going to be on Game Pass.
It's not going to be on Game Pass.
They won't let it go there. But at the same time, again, like you mentioned, you don't want to gatekeep from everybody else on these other platforms to play with their friends.
It's right now, because of everything that we've seen, it's a slippery slope with all this shit. It really is. But again, like I just keep thinking and keep saying, like, when it comes back to like the Evos and things like that, I mean, 5, they really wanted 5 exclusive, and did that hurt the game? It may have. Could have done better if it was on all consoles, maybe, but the PlayStation still outsold the console last gen 2-1 anyway. So really, at the end of the day, what does that fucking matter? Because it's at this pace, it's going to end up happening again, right? But I want it to be on all systems because I want to be able to play with my friends on Xbox and have that crossplay. Because we everybody's been wanting that sort of. Everybody wants crossplay and everything. I can understand that, but like when it comes to fighting games, I mean, on a different level of competitiveness, you want this crossplay because guys like me want, like if I'm going to play on PlayStation or whatever it is, I want to be able to play with my friends on Xbox. But it does kind of come back to that old fandom thing too. Like, if everybody's playing here, is it better?
And I think that's where the marketing deal of it will come
I think it'll be
play.
fun. Yeah, it will be fun. But so keep our fingers crossed that it's all platform. But I would not at all be surprised if Sony kept this on their system exclusive.
Yeah, Jez Corden, who works for Windows Central, he came, and again, Jez says he doesn't know specifics of everything, but he said he wouldn't bet on this coming to Xbox. Which, I mean, I like Jez Corden, but again, at the end of the day, it's just his thoughts on stuff. I feel like with the marketing going towards Sony's way as expected, and with Evo and all that stuff, they can release it on Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot, look, you and I and a lot of the viewers here, we all understand how, we understand that games are on all consoles. We get that a lot of time. We understand that even though Xbox had marketing for this game or Sony had marketing for this game, we understand that it's third party and it's on all platforms. But a lot of casual people, when they turn on the TV and they see a commercial that says, starts out PlayStation, and then you have the Street Fighter commercial, immediately in their mind, they're like, oh, I got to get a PlayStation 5. Mm-hmm. It's really that simple. That's for the more casual people out there. But folks like us, we understand a lot of these third-party deals when it comes to marketing is just that, marketing. I feel like this will come to all platforms. I feel like this will come to Xbox, but man, this thing's going to be pushed so hard in the PlayStation direction and probably PC as well. I feel like that's why they're going to do it. That's how they'll do it.
And the last thing I'll say on this as well too is that there's some big, you got to remember too when it comes to these fighting games, especially Street Fighter. There's some big names like Daigo or Justin Wong, some of these guys, and there's probably even newer guys that are even bigger at this point too. But it's that sponsorship or it's that notoriety. It's like, hey, well, they're playing on PlayStation.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, like I said, at the end of the day, it's more fun for all of us as more casual to have that crossplay. I just really feel like this is one that Sony might say, you know what?
They'll intervene and be like, hey, look,
we want to keep this on PlayStation.
I could see that too.
And it comes down again, a lot of the big piece of that is because of the names and because of Evo. Right. I hope I'm wrong because I want to be able to play with my Xbox friends on this because that's all that matters at the end of the day.
I think you're right. I think the Evo thing is a big part.
I think that plays a big part in that, honestly. Representation and it just, I know Cuddles made the joke about 2003, but the reality of that is that like since Street Fighter 4 came out in 2008, fighting games had a humongous boom and has only grown since there. And you're talking like, Smash Brothers, you're talking like Mortal Kombat's now also come out swinging not long after and stuff like that too. It's a new day when it comes to fighting games and these things. And as we get into more competitive gaming, competitive sports, MLGs and things in that nature too, sponsorships and everything like that, sometimes when it comes to that stuff, it really does matter. So,
yeah. And that's going to affect, you'll see that too when Call of Duty comes out, when Microsoft closes off this deal with Activision, Microsoft is going to own MLG as well. And so you better believe when that transaction is finished and Call of Duty comes out and that's MLG, they're going to make sure that MLG you're playing on Xbox
or PC,
marketing.
Whatever,
it's how it's going to be both ways.
Yeah,
but I mean, at the same time, you and I both know Call of Duty is going to be on both platforms. But for a lot of people who are watching their favorite Call of Duty players or people who are a little bit more casual and don't understand everything, they're just going to see that commercial come on, Xbox logo, Call of Duty. That's where I want to play that game because it's being marketed for that platform. It's really that simple. I mean, you're in the retail world. You understand when people see stuff on TV, if they're not well informed and they're not like hardcore gamers, what they see on TV is think that's what the game is. That's the only place I can play the game.
So if you want to see Ryu's wiener.
If you want to see Ryu's
let's
junk.
hope it's on all consoles, but let's not bank on it.
God, you're a scumbag. All right, moving on from Ryu's wiener, let's talk a little bit of VR. We didn't get a whole lot, but we did finally get a look at the headset itself for the PlayStation VR 2.
Yeah.
We have no release date for this thing, but we did get some more information on the headset itself. It has the same ergonomic look to it as the controllers. As you can see behind me, if I move my fat ass over, has the same aesthetic as that, has the same look to it, has the same design to it. We do know that the lens has an adjustment dial, which helps you optimize the view a little bit more. Because I know on the original PlayStation, you had to like move it around. I get it. Now there's a dial that you can tweak it a little bit easier, so it'll make it a more easier experience to kind of like optimize your view. They talked about a new built-in motor for headset feedback, which is really nice. So you can put your headsets on, and my understanding is like when you talk, you'll be able to hear yourself a little bit better.
Yeah.
So that's really, really nice. And then lastly, and I do like this one, a new vent design that helps prevent fogging up the lens. So instead of having like the mask, the headset on, and it's like closed off up here, it'll have some better venting. I don't know the specifics of it, but so if you're in there and if you're doing something like Beat Saber or something intense and you're breathing heavy, you're not going to fog up the screen. It'll have a better venting system within it to help kind of clean up the image. So that's really, really good.
I would say the PSVR compared to like the Oculus is definitely
there you go
from that.
But I mean, overall, look, you and I were fans of VR. I've been, kind of like out of it since I don't have a Quest, but I know you are going hard into the Matrix. Your thoughts on this? I mean, see, like, look, at the end of the day, do I wish it had this? It didn't have this cord right here. Yes. But at the same time, I understand why it's there. And I've played PlayStation VR with the cord. It doesn't bother me at all. And now, have I done the Quest where I don't have a cord? Yes, and that's really fucking liberating and nice. But at the end of the day, I'm just there for the experience. I want to be pulled into these worlds.
Yeah.
Your overall thoughts on the actual aesthetic of the PSVR 2 headset?
It looks similar to the original PSVR. You got yours hanging over there too. But it also has the look of the Oculuses and stuff like that. So that's great. Overall for me, the cable kind of sucks. So I'm used to now at this point not playing with a cable.
Absolutely.
But it is one cable. It doesn't seem very cumbersome either.
Right.
Though necessarily.
I mean, look at this thing. It's a very small cable. It's not like a big gargantuan thing like the other one was.
Right. Now, I could use, this for certain games and the Quest for like my Beat Sabers, right?
Right.
That's all that matters. The big thing for me is definitely the controllers though.
Yes.
We're talking haptic feedback. We're talking like that has the similarities.
Like,
to,
look, man, the Move controllers were awesome back, 10 years, 20 years ago.
Sure.
But now this is going to be a much more
more modern, and that's more important piece of that, I think. So, yeah, in more than one ways, Josie. In more than one ways.
I want to go back to Baked Thunder's comment. He says, "No offense, but I feel like VR is whack. I just don't like it. Needs more time to improve, in my opinion. Looks funny, and I just don't get the point."
When's the last time you played VR?
That's all. And again, this isn't a gatekeeping thing. This isn't a gatekeep. Because honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, Baked, when they first announced PlayStation VR, I was excited, but I was not sold on VR.
Mm-hmm.
I was not sold on VR. So I was skeptic like 3 years ago. Okay, so you've at least put the headset on. Okay, that's fair enough. And if you put the headset on and you're not a fan of it, then it is what it is. I respect the opinion because at least you tried it out. To me, the point of it is, dude, is it's going to change the way you play games. It's going to change the way you experience games.
That's the word.
Experience. It's all about the experience. Now, look, when the PSVR came out and when VR started taking off again, a lot of these games were one-trick ponies.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Tech
You're
demos.
in a ship flying around.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, but now you're seeing more stuff where you're more involved in the world. You've been playing Zenith, The Last City. That's fucking dope. You're in there dual wielding, crafting stuff. I feel like VR is kind of like remember when 3D movies came out to theaters? And it was more or less just kind of popping out at your face.
Yeah.
But as 3D evolved, they were like, look, it's not about what comes out at your face. It's about the depth of the experience. And when they started buying into that, when the studios started saying, look, let's go more depth than popping shit out in your face. The depth stuff, you're like, oh, okay, this is dope.
It became.
No, Carlos, I think you're absolutely wrong. 3D movies, I don't think you're wrong. I disagree. I think a lot of these 3D movies because 3D's dead now. Like they moved on. From 3D.
It was like a year where that was big or something. I think it became a difference between adding like 3D in the Hobbit series and having little things floating in front of you.
I hate that.
And then Blade Runner 2049 coming out, and you were immersed into it. Was the depth of it, because I remember even talking to my friends when we went and saw this. And like, I almost feel like that this movie, you had to watch this in 3D because it made you felt like you were in the movie, and that's the problem because parlor tricks are one thing, but actually having like immersion, that's a whole different level too.
Yeah, no, I agree with Cuddles to a degree. Some 3D movies did suck because they didn't take advantage of the tech. And maybe it was ahead of its time. Maybe somewhere down the line we'll look at it again and it'll be different. Maybe we won't need to wear fucking glasses.
Well, it's VR.
I think glasses is part of the issue too. If you have a big screen TV and you can project that 3D image where you get that depth, I think even though you're not up close with glasses on, if you can see that depth, much like VR, where you can see the depth, it adds to the immersion.
3D is basically VR
is basically 3D
on meth. Yeah,
And like I like putting on the headset because I love being in these worlds. And as these developers get more time with these headsets and figure out ways to really put you in these situations, and obviously we see these with the new controllers for the PSVR 2, they're haptic feedback. So you're wearing the headset, you're holding something and you're utilizing it, and the controller is responding accordingly. It's just going to add to it. The 3D sound when you're wearing the headsets and you're in this world and you're hearing everything around you, dude. VR has a future. It has a future. Whether or not it picks up, whether it's more accessible, the Meta Quest is what? Fucking $299?
You can get 300 and 400, yeah.
Dude, and I'm telling you, man, I've used that thing. It's fucking impressive. And so, I mean, I think VR has a future. Now, whether or not people want to buy into it, like, look, for the people who get motion sickness and they don't like it, I understand.
That's unfortunate.
If somebody who puts the headset on says, hey, it's not for me, I respect that. But if somebody sits there and tries to tell me VR is a gimmick or it's not going to work and they've never put a headset on, I won't even fucking listen to what you have to say.
If it's not the future, then why is every iteration every few years getting improvement coming out again?
Because the tech is there.
Exactly. If you want to look and see why it's popular and why, look at the sales of the PSVR.
Yep.
When I was still working at GameStop, by the time I was done, they had sold 2.5 million.
You know why they're
units of
making PSVR 2?
Because it sold. And I know 2 Christmases ago, I'll never forget, we sold VRs like hotcakes. Everybody wanted them. And this was after I think the Quest came out, because remember when they first came out, we're talking Vives, we're talking like what was the other one? Not the Vive on the PC. There was another one as well too.
Oculus Vive and
the
HTC,
Oculus Rift, like so the HTC Vive. Yeah, so those 2 big ones. You had to have a big computer to be able to run these things. And they were like $700-800 on top of your $700+ computer. And now you're talking about getting these things in people's hands, even though the Quest can do only so much because all of its power is in the back of your headset, right? You know, now you've got things like the PSVR or whatever plugging into something that's hardware that can actually push better. You know, you can get a whole lot more.
And we're going to get 4K HDR visuals. I mean, we're going to get a much cleaner.
Right.
And Cuddles, like he says, until it stops making me sick within 20 minutes, I might play them. I can agree. I understand where you're coming from on that. I understand because, dude, I played what was it? Sunshine, Arizona.
Yeah.
On PSVR. It is the one time I played a VR game where I had to turn it off because I was sweating and I went and threw up. But that is because it was poorly optimized. I played games like Firewall 0 Hour, where you're using the controller and you're moving around. That doesn't bother me. There are going to be some experiences that are probably really shitty. And that's because, we're kind of like in the early stages of these developers trying to figure out how to make this hardware work. And if 4K HDR visuals, the higher clarity and the less motion blur and everything looks more natural, I think that'll alleviate a lot of that motion sickness.
Yeah, well, yeah, for sure. And keep
I
in
agree
mind,
with you, Cuddles. Go ahead.
Keep in mind, I mean, we had our first VR headset, you know, for the most part, you know, in like mainstream console games in the 90s was the Virtual Boy, right? And that was burning people's retinas. But, you know, this technology is barely even, it's not even 10 years old yet from we started getting Oculus Rifts and different things like that. It's not even 10 years old. So
was it
this
2016?
Maybe, but my point is that we're still in the infancy of this technology being mainstream and being something that people say this is a viable option. Listen, the reality people got to understand, no matter if you don't like it or can't use it, this is the future of gaming. We saw it in Demolition Man. This is where gaming is going. Like,
great reference.
They're going to continue to do this, and like I said, like I don't know the sales on the PSVR anymore because I'm not in that retail lane anymore, but I can tell you right now, by the time I left GameStop, they had sold 2.5 million units of these things, and Sony was going, oh, there's a market here for it, and they're spending $400 or $500 on them. $300 for those bundles, or $250 for some of them without the controllers.
And they're not putting on a headset with 4K HDR if the shit ain't selling.
That's exactly it, because at the end of the day, is it going to be you buying their console for whatever price and their headset, or are you going to buy a computer and get one of their big headsets? Whatever it is, they've completely put their chips on it, and they're gonna keep going.
They see
with
a trend, they see something there, and you know, as somebody who enjoys VR gaming, I'm ecstatic about this. I'm elated by their decision to push forward through it.
Yeah.
I think this headset looks good. I like some of the changes they've made to it in terms of like quality of life changes to it. I'm excited, man. Now, whether or not, do you think this drops this year? Or do you think this is, or because I think the original VR dropped in March. of when it came out. I think it was like an early
It
spring.
might have been a spring
I think it
thing,
was a spring launch.
I think, man, I think
Sony's renowned for doing that. They'll stick to a release cycle that they see works. They like to avoid the fall. Unless it's a hardware system, Sony, even with their first party stuff, they like to avoid the fall. They like to focus on spring.
I think because we'd heard the rumors during COVID. I think that this is either going to be a fall or later. I'm
gonna say late winter, early spring.
Well,
next year.
if it's this year, I'm ready. Then take my
shit
money.
my
I'm ready
pants.
to go.
I'm putting a pre-order in for sure.
Ready to go.
I'm ready to see where they're going to take VR next. And the thing is, man, wherever they take it to next, you already know that Oculus and HTC, they're going to take. I mean, we're going to just continue to see this medium of entertainment continue to move forward as the tech continues to improve. And all we're going to get more is more and more immersive experiences. And I'm fucking on board for that, dude.
Yeah, man.
I love being in these worlds. I love putting that headset on and looking around and realizing I am in this world. I'll do this. I'll play that shit all the time.
Last thing I'll say, and one of my favorite things outside of now recently playing, like learning that MMOs are finally going to be in VR. I'll always talk about playing Valkyrie. What was it?
Valkyrie.
Valkyrie on the PSVR early in the inception, and using my flight stick, having the headset on, and doing space combat and looking in my cockpit, looking around and going. And because of that, having the ability to play really well, because instead of 2D depth, I've got a full 3D depth. It's like night and day.
And think about that. That was the first thing I played too at the GameStop when I went down to Grand Rapids. That was one of the few GameStops in Michigan that actually had that VR to try it out. And that's the first thing I played was Valkyrie. Think about what you played there. And then think about last Zenith and how you're pulling up a table and you're creating your own potions and shit on your crafting table.
Yeah, it's wild.
We're seeing that progression of immersion, and that's what fucking people want. I want to get lost in these worlds,
and that's exactly what I'm doing.
And that's why I'm excited for what we're seeing here. So, last gaming topic. Holy shit!
And then a bathroom break.
Oh, we got a bathroom break after this. Oh, Tony's got to go tinkle. The Elden Ring. Elden Ring comes out on Friday, and the reviews drop today. And Tone, they were pretty good.
I think it's more than that.
They're pretty fucking good. Like, really fucking good.
Oh.
Now, look, From Software is renowned for putting out some, really appreciated games.
Yeah.
These are popular games with critics, but they aren't typically huge sellers because, to be honest, they're brutally tough. They're not for the most casual players.
Right.
And we can get into the whole difficulty discussion about whether or not these games should be as difficult. Should there be accessibility options that'll make it easier for people? Personally, I don't have an issue if they want to add stuff that makes it easier for people because I hear about the stories in these games, Bloodborns, the Dark Souls, the Sekiros, all this stuff. The stories are supposed to be really, really good. And if you want to make it easier for people to get in there and experience these stories, I'm okay with that. But for myself, I like to go in there and get my ass kicked and turn it off after the first boss. That's my typical From Software experience. I fire it up. I get immersed in the atmosphere, which, seriously, tell me another developer other than From Software that makes more atmospherically, thick worlds than From Software. I mean, you turn on Bloodborne. Or you turn on Dark Souls and you jump in there. And I'm not talking about the gameplay or the story. I'm just talking about the actual
that's
art
easy.
style.
Visceral Games. But they no longer make Dead Space.
You're not wrong. Visceral was very, very good with presentation.
But I digress. I mean, yeah.
But I mean, From Software is arguably one of the most talented studios when it comes to level creation,
visual,
and immersion, and just the atmosphere.
Everything
it's always
about it.
thick with atmosphere. And Elden Ring, from the trailers we've seen up until this point, it looked like very much the same. Whenever you're making a game with From Software collaborating with George R.R. Martin of Game of Thrones fame, you're automatically thinking, oh shit, Game of the Year, like Brian says. It's the early Game of the Year 2022. Elden Ring has dropped, and my brother, these reviews are fucking ridiculous. As of earlier tonight, it is holding a 97 on Metacritic
Jesus
and
Christ.
a 96 on OpenCritic. which sits atop
True Cross.
both platforms. I think it dropped underneath Super Mario Odyssey on OpenCritic, but it is one of the best reviewed games of all time at this point. It is one of the best reviewed games of all time. And that is wild. Crazy how Miyazaki paid off all those reviews. I don't know, Brian. Like, look, dude, like,
Right.
I am not I love From Software and what they've done with their games, but I am not somebody who will risk the life of my controller or myself to try to finish these games because I will fucking rage. Typically, I would rage. Games like Dark Souls, Demon Souls, all this shit where you have to constantly progress in order to move forward. I would rage and just be like, I beat the first boss and I feel like I won the lotto. I'd be like, cool, this is it.
Right.
I'm done. Shelving this game. I have beaten the game. I'm moving on. Elden Ring comes out, and now based on the people on social media and some of the reviews, it seems like they've taken that From Software formula and really pushed it forward to the point where it's maybe more accessible, but not necessarily easier. Meaning is like if you play Dark Souls or something like that, once you hit a boss that you can't beat, you're like, fuck, dude, I'm frustrated. I'm not like me. I'd be like, I can't beat this dude. And I'm on the verge of killing my controller. I'm going to be like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm out. I'm done.
Right.
I've beaten one boss. I got into this guy. I can't beat it. I'm not going to get super duper mad. The thing about Elden Ring is this is a much more open world game. Meaning, if I approach a boss that I can't beat, I can be like, whoa. I'm not ready for this guy. I can go Dragon Quest this shit and move about the world and take down other enemies and grind out my levels. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to make the battles easier. They're still going to be really tough. That when I come back to that boss, he's still going to be a fucking dude that's going to whoop my ass. But at least now, my character can be ranked up more.
Right.
I can do more damage. I can sustain more damage. And maybe that gives me the edge. But at the end of the day, I still have to figure out how to beat this boss. I still have to learn its attack pattern. But the fact that I can go out there and start grinding my character and getting better or exploring different stuff or taking on different bosses or just doing whatever the fuck I want in this open world, now you've piqued my interest. Now you've piqued my interest because now I can't get frustrated. I can step away and be like, you know what? Fuck, I'm going to go somewhere else and start doing stuff and grinding stuff and working on my character. I don't feel like I can't progress forward. I can progress forward by going elsewhere. Now you've piqued my interest.
You're not
dude.
pigeonholed into like a pathway.
Exactly. It's not like a linear pathway. I can
Mhm.
go out and explore stuff. Now, Tony, I know you're the same way as me. We appreciate the talent of From Software when it comes to creating worlds.
I respect it.
But we are fucking rage-induced guys.
Yes.
Halo is one thing. From Software games,
that's another thing.
Upper echelon.
No, it's not amateur hour. That's my opinion on these. I don't think these need easy modes. I think this deserves to be what it is. I think it's niche in that reason. I think that it's got its cult following, and I respect it. I honestly, I just keep it the way it is. I mean, if you want to get good, then fucking get good. If I wanted to get good, I fucking try to get good. I probably ain't, but whatever. Like, I don't like, even though the stories and people want to experience that stuff, I say fuck it. It's literally not amateur hour. This is their thing. Stay in their lane. Let them do it. If I'm not man enough to pick up the fucking controller and play it, that's on me. That's on everybody else. Like, just get good at it or get better. So I fucking let them go on it. And like, listen, I don't play them because I don't have that patience, and I will break dual senses and dual shocks and probably a wall. But you know what? Everybody's gung ho about it. Fucking, I'm right here behind you going, let's go From Software. Keep putting this is great. This is great. I mean, you're seeing ratings in a game here that is not going to be for everybody. That's fucking gnarly. And keep it coming. Like, I'll cheer them all day, but you're not going to see me fucking play it. Hell no. I mean, maybe. I mean, I've had literally when you texted me today.
Yeah.
You were the fourth person I counted to text me about this fucking game today after these ratings come out.
And you are somebody who typically, I will say, you're probably the same as I am. You're very competitive. And you jump into something, but at the same time, we can rage quickly when we get to a point where we're like, what the fuck else do I have to do to beat this game?
And I recognize that.
And I recognize it too. But talking about how you're playing Trails and you're going out and you told me multiple times, I'm out there grinding and grinding and grinding. And now that you've added this element to a From Software game, a fantasy RPG, something that you're obviously a big fan of, and now they've made it more accessible to you. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to be easier, but it's more accessible to you.
It is. It's just that, like, this is an action RPG, so that means the timing and the patience is all on me, whereas a strategy game or like a turn-based game, that's more about that strategy, so I have more control in that arena. Like, I told you, I did another 45-minute boss battle fight this fucking week, for fuck's sake. But yeah, you know, like, so I'm definitely intrigued more than I have been. I was intrigued by Bloodborne, and I got to the first boss after a week, finally beat it, and like I've talked about numerous times here, then I never played it again. Right. And I loved that, the aesthetic of that game. I always thought Dark Souls 2 or 3 would be fucking fun to play and look like a good time. People was like, you should try it out. No, I'm not gonna. Like, I ain't gonna. I'm not gonna be
Tone,
that time.
What we need to do is at some point down the road, I know you got a lot going on right now.
Yeah.
Maybe this is something we can look at, because we also know that it's easier to craft the necessary items for co-op.
Yep.
And you can go up to 4 players in a game cooperative. Now, this is not a game meant for co-op.
It's not Monster Hunter.
It's not Monster Hunter or anything like that. But, like, say if I get to a boss, or you get to a boss, and you're like, hey, man, have you beaten this guy? I'll be like, yeah, I have. And you're like, can you come in and help me out with this? I mean, yeah. And I come in and I try showing you ropes, but we're still struggling. Well, hey, I know another guy who knows this boss really easy. We can bring him in, him or her in, and then, okay, now we figured it out. Now we can do it. Right. And you can learn from that experience. And it's easier to craft the items necessary to make co-op, easier than it is the previous From game. Right. So they're encouraging it. They've made it more accessible. And, dude, based on the trailers that we've seen, this is a game I want to jump into. Yeah. Like, I really want to get into this world and explore it. Now, whether or not it's something I'm going to jump into right now, no, because I'm playing Horizon Forbidden West. I'm keeping my focus. But I have this pre-ordered, and I'm seriously considering jumping into this once I finish Horizon Forbidden West. Because I want to get good at these games. Like, look, I want them to make it accessible to everybody, maybe even making, if they add easy difficulty so people can experience the story, that's cool. I'm a competitive person by nature, and I want to play the game that the developer wanted to make. And if it's supposed to kick me in the nuts, then God damn it, I'll do that. I'll do it, and if I don't like it, I'll walk away. But I'm not going to change it to easy. But at the same time, for the folks who do want to experience it, and the folks who do want to experience the story that From Software has crafted, I say let them. I'm cool with that. It's not going to affect me. It's not going to bother my ego if somebody goes, oh, hey, I beat fucking EldenRing on easy. I'll be like, okay, that's awesome. I'm glad you got to experience it. I can't do that. I want to play. I want the challenge. You know, if I sit there and lower the difficulty to easy, I'm glad it's there, but it's going to piss me off. It's going to piss me off because I couldn't beat it the way it's meant to be,
right?
The way the developer meant for it to be played. But I want everyone to experience, because not only that, it sells well. And I want From Software to continue to thrive and continue to get good and continue to grow as a developer and make their money, because they do obviously craft fucking amazing games. So if I get into this, it won't be till after Horizon Forbidden West. But even then, like Jay Hill, I talked to Jay Hill earlier, I don't know if me swearing for 2.5 hours is a very appealing story time stream.
Nope.
Now, if we don't fucking get back to Halo, I might make this the Friday Night Rage stream.
It's on you.
It is on me. All right, Tone's got to go tinkle. We got 2 more things we want to talk about. You want to stick around for the meme debate. We got a strong meme debate in the spirit of the Batman, which drops next Friday. We have a good meme debate. We got 2 more topics. We'll be right back. Tone's going to go tinkle. Stick around. And we're back. We done we done one tinkle. And you know what? And that's way too small. Says my hang on a sec here. You should be able to whoa, that's
Jeez,
I know. Sorry, I had to fix it. It was pissing me off. It's just like way too small.
Right.
All right. So Tone, we meant to talk about this last week, but we were running short on time. But we want to talk about Bel Air. The Impressions of Bel Air. We were 4 episodes in. This is obviously the series that was created after a fan-made video put out about what would the Fresh Prince of Bel Air look like in modern times.
Dramatization
of a fan favorite show from the late 80s, early 90s. So Bel Air is set in modern day America. It's Peacock's new 1-hour drama series. Bel Air imagines the beloved sitcom through a new dramatic take on Will's complicated journey from West Philadelphia to Bel Air. And I want to preface this by saying when it comes to remakes or reboots or reimaginings or whatever the fuck you want to call them, the most important thing when trying to create these shows is, regardless of the method, the creators, the show's original essence has to be retained. You have to have the show's original essence, the DNA that made it so popular, to not only bring in new people, but to also kind of like satiate, keep the fans of those shows happy.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have your original audience bought into it.
Mm-hmm.
But you also have to, modern times, you have to try to reach out to other people as well.
Mm-hmm.
I want to preface it by saying that. Now, Tone, I want to come to you first. I feel like we're on different ends of the spectrum, so to speak. Your thoughts so far on the Bel Air show?
I am a super fan of the original series. It's one of my all-time favorite sitcoms, and I fucking love this show. I can't get enough of this show. Like, listen, even the nuances I know you're going to talk about and things like that probably could be critiqued a little bit better. I don't give a fuck. I am bought in so hard on this right now. I love the dynamic between Carlton and Will, because if, like I said, I said the other day, I think is that, early in that series, there was always this kind of like, I don't want to say beef necessarily, but it was like a wedge there because Will's kind of coming in. They expand on this because it is a dramatization, and it really just, I don't know, I feel like it fucking works. Is there a little CW drama in this? Absolutely. I don't feel like it's overbearing because it's not super campy necessarily. It feels kind of grounded. That's the thing about this I think like the most, is that it does still feel like in some ways that there's some realism and some groundedness here. Now, there's clearly some things that aren't, when we get to Joffrey and things like that and whatever is going on there with the Godfather, but there definitely is a lot of things to this where it just feels like this is a really good modernization and re-imaging of this. And then just also, you got to take the fact it's not a comedy anymore.
No,
it's not a sitcom. Even Hillary, who in the show was just like, very Valley girl and very like in on herself and very like dumb and stuff like this, and like falls in these weird stereotypes. That is not the character in this at all. And I really appreciate that about that completely. I got to tell you, like, I love, like, listen, James Avery was Uncle Phil. He'll always be Uncle Phil. Always. This, I don't know his name offhand.
Adrian Holmes.
Dude, something about him, he is a presence to me. I'm like, when he's on screen, I'm like, what's he got to say? Because I care about him a lot. Like, I'm really into him. Listen, I have completely hook, line, and sinkered. Yeah, I want to be a house manager now, like Jeffrey. Exactly. Love that. I am hook, line, and sinkered. I absolutely love this show, and I don't know what it is that's got me hooked. I can't really maybe fully explain it. For me, I feel like I am getting what I needed to make it feel like it's the Fresh Prince of Bel Air, more than just the names, because I feel like even though they're evolved into a different character and a different story, I feel like I get bits and pieces and the essences of those characters, and they're little things. They're very subtle things that Will does or says or callbacks to the show. Just these little things will pop up, and I'll be like, holy shit, I get that kind of reference, or what they're kind of going with that. And the last thing I'll say, and I kind of toss over to you because I'm not going to be super, deep dive into it because I think I'm just like starry-eyed about it. Aunt Viv, played by
that is Cassandra Freeman.
I'm in love with her, and if she wanted to get married, let's run away.
Yeah, she's very talented, but she's also just incredibly gorgeous.
She is
a beautiful, beautiful person.
Of all the characters, I would say she's in top. She might even be number one spot of like, that is Viv to me, a modern Viv, and she encompasses that so well. I'm absolutely in love with her, like starry-eyed in love with this woman. But when she's on the screen, I'm completely like, just, I love you. But I'm really enjoying the characters. I'm really enjoying everything that they've done here, and I really do like that Will Smith has a big hand in it, and he apparently seems to really he enjoyed it. Clearly, this is happening. He's a big hand in the production, or his producer, things in that nature. So, man, you know what? I'm tomorrow's Thursday, right? So I'll be watching. I'm waiting.
Like, look, and I'm going to agree with a lot of stuff that Tony says. First of all, the cast is very capable. This cast is very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody from Jabari Banks is Will. Now, whether or not he's going to have the same, I mean, look, Will Smith was at one point considered the biggest star on the planet, and Fresh Prince of Bel Air is what he uses his platform to kind of bolster him up there, and that's what he got on Independence Day, and it took off from there. So whether Jabari Banks will ever be the actual Will Smith, the what you need from this character, because this is the central character, this is the iconic. When you think of Fresh Prince of Bel Air, yes, I love all the characters from that show. Uncle Phil was fantastic. James David, he was amazing. But at the end of the day, it was a Will Smith joint. And Will Smith is what made that show go with the help of his supporting cast. Whether Jabari Banks hits those heights, I don't know. I do like him as Will in the show. I think he's very talented. He shows a lot of range.
Yeah.
He's very, very good. And everyone else, they all seem to be channeling their counterparts in certain ways. Hillary is very ambitious, kind of like ditzy in ways. You kind of get those vibes of it, but in a modern take. Ashley is naive and kind of like just kind of there and going with the flow, much like that character in a modern take. Carlton is very much what I would expect from a modern take of Carlton. And Aunt Viv and Uncle Phil are working as one, trying to guide this family in the right direction, getting them to live their best lives. So everybody is very, very good in this show. The performances are great across the board from the family, and I dig that portion of it. But while the swagger and styles are, and this show has style.
Oh, God, yeah.
Style from the soundtrack to the settings to wherever they're going.
The soundtrack,
the soundtrack is dope as fuck. Like, everything is good there. And for the dramatization side of things and making it a little bit more or a little bit more drama and gritty and whatnot, I think they've done a good job there. My issue with it so far, though, is there are some lighthearted choices that characters make, and I think there's some lighthearted choices they make with the plot. I did not like the way the first episode ended. When Lisa and Will are talking at that party, and Lisa's like, look, Carlton's been through a lot. He's had a lot of issues, and they're about to dive into that, her and Will. And I talked to you about this the other day. And next thing you know, they're back at this party set to make out in front of Carlton. Now, look, if Lisa, who seems like a good character, who means well, is about to dive into Carlton's anxiety and his drug use with Will, explain things to him, and caring about Carlton, why the fuck is she making out with him back at the party in front of Carlton? Now, I understand that's there to drive the rivalry between Carlton and Will. But dude, that was a terrible segue. I was just like, come on, dude, that was stupid.
Love triangles make the undies drop.
And I get that part, and it's part of the soap opera element. It's part of the CW stuff that you mentioned. But that was so jarring. I was like, that was stupid. They're sitting down talking. She's about to reveal to him the issues that Carlton has. And it not only makes her look shitty as a character, it makes Will look shitty as a character. Oh, shit, my cousin's been through all these problems. Well, hey, let's go back to the party and make out while he's across the way. You're his ex-girlfriend. I'm sorry, that's really hard for me to take. And I didn't like that at all. And we've seen that also later on in the episode when somebody plants something in Will's bag. I think it was episode 3, where somebody planned something in Will's bag. Carlton's buddy, Connor, who I fucking hate. Connor fucking sucks.
He's playing his role, Prince Joffrey.
He's doing a great job playing a fucking scumbag.
Playing a Joffrey.
But the way they get this situation to pass, Aunt Viv and Uncle Phil going to the school and be like, hey, man, you've got cameras everywhere. Check the film. Let's see who the fuck is fucking around with Will's bag. Because Will's like, Adam, like, those aren't my drugs. And so, like, okay, cool, we'll check the tape. The school board, the principal's like, oh, we didn't check the tapes, which is fucking stupid. And they push for it. But then it jumps ahead, and Will goes to Carlton and goes, well, an anonymous tipper said somebody strange, not from the school, was messing with my bag. So now the school's decided not to watch the tapes. What? Wait, what? You would think the school would be like, we had some unidentified person on our property fucking with one of our students' stuff. I would be more inclined to check the tapes. But they use this cheap cop-out to move the story forward. I have issues with that. Okay, I have issues with that. And I mean, oh, you're nitpicking. No, that's a fucking dumb... Dude, if you're the principal of a school and you find out from an anonymous tipper that somebody shady who's not from the school is going through people's bags on the premises, the first thing I'm doing is checking the tape. But because somebody reported it, we're not going to check the tape. So Will is in the clear, and Carlton escapes disaster. That was fucking terrible. That was terrible. So I have some issues with what they're doing to move the story going forward. But the biggest issue I have right now, and the biggest concern I have, is this last episode. Now, look, Will had some issues back in West Philly.
We know the song.
Rashard, I can't remember his last name, but Rashard is the drug dealer that he has an interaction with. And, you know, he's making threats to Will. We're coming for you. And Rashard finds out where he's at. And then we find out in this last episode that, you know, Joffrey might not be who he says he is. He might have, there might be more to than just a house manager. Okay? And he meets with some guy who's been tailing Will. And he tells the guy, look, Rashard wants more money from us. We already paid him $10,000 to shut up. But he wants more money from us. But we're not going to pay him. And by we, I don't mean just Jeffrey. I mean Uncle Phil. Uncle Phil's not going to pay Rashad to shut the fuck up anymore. And at the end of the episode, when Will comes home from his great night playing basketball, who dropped 30, he played balls out. Joffrey looks to Uncle Phil and says, hey, man, we got a security discussion to have. Let's go. And they go to their private quarters to have a discussion. We don't get to see that. And shortly after that, Will finds out from Trey that Rashard has been killed in Philadelphia. He's been gunned down at a strip club. So now we know. It's not like it's a secret. It's alluding to the fact that Joffrey is more than just a house manager. And it also means that Uncle Phil is more than just a DA. Now, look, I am all for the dramatization of some stuff and making it more serious and bringing it to modern times. If they run out episode 5 tomorrow and Uncle Phil is a fucking crime boss and Joffrey is a fucking hitman that organizes stuff across the country, I'm out. You have not only have you lost.
I'm gonna see it play out, bro. I'm gonna see it play out.
I'm sorry. I mean, you're sitting there. You're trying to build Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv as these parents who are trying to get their kids to understand. Look, our life is difficult. Our life is difficult in America as black people, and we're trying to do the right thing to lead you in the right path. And now you're gonna tell me Uncle Phil is a fucking crime boss? You have fucked this show up. I'm serious, man. Like, Uncle Phil was a huge part of the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. He was Will's father figure. And now you're trying to present him as this guy who cares about the black community and he's trying to do right by them, but he's also a fucking crime boss, possibly? You have failed. This show has derailed. I will be furious if that's the direction to go with this. Because they are undermining everything they've set up so far. Because seriously, Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv are supposed to be that safety net for Will. Uncle Phil is trying to be the voice of the black community in a fucking racist world. And now the story is going to make him a crime boss who pays off fucking thugs across the country and issues hit warrants through Jeffrey? Nah, dude.
Spoiler alert.
They do this shit, I will fucking stop watching the show because they have failed.
Okay. I don't think it's gonna go that way. I really don't. I think they're doing that to misdirect you.
They better.
I really believe
But
that.
I'm sorry, man. The way that Jeffrey talked to that guy in the car and sit there and said, "We have paid Rashard to shut the fuck up," and we already saw that when Will showed up at that party at the beginning of the first episode. Uncle Phil was like, "Don't talk about too much about why you're here," because Uncle Phil is clearly doing shit. He's trying to become DA, but he doesn't want people to know about how he got Will out of trouble.
It would be a really weird spin if they take a character like Phil and this family and this great idea and these safety nets and kind of go that direction. I think that would be really weird. So I don't really see it like going like that. Like if it does, listen, I'm ride or die right now. I'm really enjoying the show. Like I'm suspending my disbelief on a lot of these things. And again, we don't know till tomorrow what's going to
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'll find out tomorrow.
Till tomorrow, we don't really know. I would think it would be wild if they went in that direction. I think they're misdirecting us.
If tomorrow it starts off with fucking Uncle Phil still going,
right.
Yeah, Joffrey, thanks for putting that fucking hit on. I'm going to be like, nope.
Yeah,
I'll stop watching.
We'll see. I think. I like I said, I don't think it's really going to go in that direction. I think it's kind of like trying to play some shit. I, however, am really enjoying the show.
And I'm going to tell you right now, and I don't mean to cut you off. I do love everything we've seen so far from Uncle Phil. Struggling, trying to get the vote, trying to tell people, look, I am not just some puppet. I understand what you need from me. And I understand what he's trying to do with Will. He has some great, genuine scenes with Will. Trying to be that father figure. But if you're telling me this dude's a fucking crime boss, I'm out, dude.
I just find it, I think it would be a really and listen, it'd be a big plot hole, and I can see where you would jump out of this. If he's in one hand giving Will these big instructions about
life,
why you're here, who you're doing, your choices you're making, and then behind the scenes he's making these choices, I just feel like that would tarnish even James Avery's
dude,
and I don't think that Will would do that.
And I hope they wouldn't.
I don't think that they would.
And I hope they don't, because you're absolutely right. It will fucking tarnish what made that show so good. James Avery, Uncle Phil, was amazing.
Yes.
He was commanding on screen, but he had the best intentions for Will. If they make Uncle Phil a crime boss in this show, I will stop fucking watching. I'm just saying everything that we've seen so far is alluding to that. Joffrey has said, where's Joffrey getting $10,000 from to shut Rashad up?
We don't. Well, maybe
he went there, and I'm just saying, I'm pointing this stuff out to you, dude. In that conversation in the car, he said, we paid this guy $10,000 to shut up.
I know, but
and then he said, we're not paying anymore. And then after that, before we find out Rashad's dead, he tells Phil, we have to talk.
Yeah, well, I think that's a misdirection. I think
if that's the case, awesome.
I think you're just assuming too much yet.
I'm assuming based on what I've seen and what they've shown us.
I think you're assuming.
Okay. And if tomorrow,
if it goes that direction, then don't watch it, and we won't talk about it ever again on the fucking show.
No, I'm gonna have to watch it. I'm just saying, Brian, am I wrong? I'm gonna ask Brian, because I know Brian. I am making an educated guess.
I don't see that they're. I
will be shocked.
That
if
would
that's
be
the direction they go with
exactly.
that.
That's the word for it, is shocked, because that would tarnish James Avery's fucking legacy. And if that's the direction they go in it, what the fuck? Stunned.
I would be shocked, but I mean, based on everything we've seen so far, that's what they're alluding to.
I don't know. I'm gonna guess. If it was me, I'm gonna guess. Here's my educated guess for you, Brian. Is that Uncle Phil isn't fully aware of Joffrey's background.
Oh, you think Joffrey's going rogue?
I don't think,
because Joffrey he's different than Joffrey that we know, man.
He made a couple of comments in season or episode 1 or 2 about some certain things that just seem like off commentary and things that he knows or does. And I'm sure Phil wants him there for the family security, but it's just like anybody that decides, like John Wick, I want to get married and the wife doesn't know exactly what I was doing. Why is Joffrey going to tell Uncle Phil everything he was doing and knows what to do?
I think the 10K was just not to ruin his campaign about letting his family go with gun charge. Well, I mean, hey, look, if that's the case, like I said, I'm just going based, and if this is misdirection, then, dude, I will say it next week. If we watch the show in the next episode, if it's good and it's a misdirection, I would be like, okay, cool, man, you had me worried. Because I do like the characters they've built, and I do like the struggles, and I do like everything that's going on. But, man, if this is the direction they go, I'll be furious.
I don't see that way they would.
And
do
I'm
that.
not saying they are. I'm just saying the way they're setting it up, I'll be furious if that's where they go.
I think they're fucking with you and they got you hooked.
And I hope they do. And I hope they really fucking do.
That's what I think is they got you.
That's cool because it just feels like, because you would agree though, if this is the direction you go, this is egregious and fucking.
I would have a really hard time finishing the series if that's the direction they went. Very honestly,
as long as we're on that
if that's
same
what you
page,
want to hear, if
if
that's
we're
going
on
to make
that
you
same
sleep
page,
tonight, yes.
I'm just saying based on what we've been given so far, that's how I'm interpreting it, and I hope that's not the case. But I'm going to DM you my comment because.
No, I don't need any dick pics, man. I got to go to bed tonight. I know better with you.
Overall, though, I do enjoy the show. I'm engaged, and I like what they've done.
Yeah,
so
and I'm very hooked into this
with
right
a couple
now.
issues with some of the plot stuff.
I'm very hooked. I like I said, I think it's misdirection on purpose. I really do.
Okay, all right. Well, we will find out tomorrow.
And then you can be wrong. Cool.
Hey, dude, if I'm fucking wrong and I read into it wrong, I will eat crow.
You need my butt.
I'd rather eat crow. Anywho, all right. I would be disappointed if it goes down that road as well. Thank you, Bank.
Exactly.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who feels
Because I feel like that would stretch back to James Avery.
I agree with you on that part.
That would be a problem.
All right, Tone.
All right.
Final topic.
You want a real heated debate?
I was like, let's get
time
fucking
for
to it. In the spirit
You need some water.
of the Batman that drops next week.
Yes. Yes.
We have a meme debate.
Yes. This is my idea. Everybody give me credit.
I'm not going to give you any credit.
No
Keaton.
idea.
Cuddle says Keaton. All right, Tone.
Yes.
We love our meme debates.
We
have some good
do.
discussions.
We do.
The
We
community
do.
gets involved.
We do.
I know Cuddles has already got his choice. That's totally fine.
I don't
Let's
think
take
he's
a look.
alone.
Tone,
No, a lot
this
of people
week's
got that
meme
choice.
debate is who's your Batman?
Who is your Batman? And if you say Will Arnett, I can't be mad at you.
Tone, run me down the list of who we're looking at here as our options. For
We
who's
are
your
looking
Batman.
at starting from the top left, none other than the iconic and legend Adam
Late
West.
great.
And then Michael Keaton, 89. And then the one and only Kevin Conroy, who has done more voice work for Batmans than these guys have already been Batmans. Next, we got Christian Bale. Then we have, a real tough choice there, George Clooney. Then Val Kilmer. Then Batfleck, none other than Ben Affleck. And then, of course, again, Will Arnett for the Lego, who very, very fairly is a very fun Batman. I do enjoy Will Arnett's Batman. That is our 8. So the question is, who is your Batman? I'm not mad at Ben either, Tricky. I feel like we talked about this early on. I honestly feel like he didn't get enough light in the day to really fully flesh out his Batman. So I definitely enjoyed him for his time.
In fact, I would say that I liked his Batman in Batman vs. Superman more so than Justice League. I felt like Justice League was more of they tried to make him more of a not a cartoon, more of a comic guy.
I feel like he was better than 2 of the Batmans on that list.
Really?
Absolutely.
Okay, all right. P. Holmes from the College Humor Short Videos. That's the second time we've heard that.
Somebody made a comment about Abed from Community earlier. I don't remember. I think that was Zach Dynamite that did that, which is really funny because that's a deep cut for me as well too. I still like in the Kilmer movie, he said everyone wants to be Batman until you are Batman. Yeah, Kilmer was not a fan of playing that. He was miserable, but he was also going through a lot of personal shit in his life too, so that could have played a part in that. Bake says 2 top left. So he's got Adam and Keaton. Okay. That's fair.
He's going with the original and the original.
Okay. I like it.
All right, Tone.
Yeah, okay.
So we've got some iconic characters, iconic actors playing an iconic role of Batman.
See, he's going so Jay says he can't budge from 2 though.
Jay Hill says I'm going to go 2 top left.
Gun
as
in your
well.
head. What are you saying?
Brian says I'm too young to recognize these people. Come on, Brian.
Brian, actually, we want to congratulate and say, hey, late happy birthday. He just turned 19 this week.
Oh shit!
So very, very excited for you, Brian.
Is he
just turned 19?
Is he what is that? Leap year baby?
Yeah, I don't know.
He's a leap year kid.
He's getting hair in his nuts. We're really proud of him.
Yeah, it might be some Family Guy. I mean, Adam West was renowned for Family Guy. He did a great job. Keaton's Batman on Netflix now. Where's my child support, dads?
Hey, the birthday card is a little late. Postage was hard to buy this month.
So everybody watching, let us know in the chat, who is your Batman?
Yeah, and if you're watching on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, if you're listening, comment, please. We want to know. This is some serious fucking topics here. This is hey, Darth Plagueis, welcome.
Thank you for following Darth Plagueis. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Darth, I know you. Pretty awesome.
Cuddle says no bail.
Yeah,
not
so
bail.
I'm also in that camp. I will hashtag a not bail. I do not like his Batman. I'm not a fan of Christian Bale's Batman. Do I like the movies? Yes.
Do you like his Bruce Wayne?
I love his Bruce Wayne, actually. I think he's a great Bruce Wayne, but I do not like his Batman. I can't get over this the entire time for 2.5 hours. Swear to me! Where are the drugs hidden? Where are they hidden?
Now, mind you, he changed it up after Batman Begins. Clearly,
Wow,
Nolan was like, well, let's slow down with this shit.
And we got an Andy Warhol out there. Okay.
Blanco says Andy Warhol.
Okay.
But Tone, I mean, let's go on the list, man. I mean, I think a lot of people will always respect Adam West.
Listen. As a kid, I did watch that series in Syndicate and was blown away by it. Pow, bam. You got to have love for Adam West. Now, at later years, Adam West outside of that, really awesome too. But yeah, definitely not a contender for first for me. Very honestly, just
Michael
a lot of respect.
Keaton?
Michael Keaton's a contender.
Big
time contender.
How about Kevin Conroy? The one I'm assuming that's the one that looks like Willem Dafoe.
That would be Kevin Conroy. Kevin Conroy actually is in contender as well.
How about Christian Bale's out? George Clooney. Is anyone gonna love George Clooney on this?
Move on.
All right, Val Kilmer.
And I'm gonna say this, and it's gonna be real particular. I'm gonna say this so everybody can hear this. Kilmer was not a good Bruce Wayne Batman. He didn't have the look. He had the triangular face. He just didn't come off as a great Bruce nor Batman. Didn't have the look. Now, had he have been the Batman, the Jean-Luc, the Azrael when Batman's back was broken by Bane and played that Batman, yes, he looked a lot like Jean-Luc, and I think that's part of the reason they went with him. Just the storyline.
So basically, should they have gone with Val Kilmer after George Clooney? Because then Bane could have fucked up George Clooney and be like, okay, look, here's a new guy.
If they would have followed the source material, that would have been okay.
That probably would have worked.
That would have been a little bit more okay, yeah.
Batfleck. What do you think about Ben Affleck?
I honestly, I still think he deserves his light in the fucking sun on that one. I actually really liked his older version of Bruce. I liked that he was dark and things like that and kind of followed some of that Frank Miller storyline. Like, yes. I definitely think that he didn't get enough time in that.
I agree with you 100% on that, actually. I do think Ben Affleck was a solid, not only Bruce Wayne, but really good Batman.
I'm an Affleck guy. He was the bomb in Phantoms, yo. God, come on.
I'm not giving you
God,
fucking
everybody
Phantoms,
missed that again.
I'm not giving you a fucking high five.
You fucker. And then listen, Will Arnett as Lego Batman is fucking hilarious. I don't care if you're a kid or adult. His shit is funny. He's enjoyable. And I love Will Arnett, so.
So, Tone,
yes.
You've gone down your list.
I've gone down the list.
Gun to your head.
Who do you think is my favorite Batman? That's what I'm going to ask you. If I had to gun to my... Okay, let me put you... This is really... Actually, you want to know what? This is actually a lot tougher for me than you think because I come down to two.
I'm going to say if I had to guess
I come down to
it's
two.
It's between Keaton and Conroy.
Correct.
And you're going to go with Conroy because the cartoon was amazing.
At the end of the day...
I'm right, aren't I?
Well, no,
I call you off guard.
No, because I usually separate.
You're going with Clooney, aren't you?
I usually separate the two.
Uh-huh.
I say it like this: I say live action and I say animated.
I'm not asking you that. Gun to your head, best Batman. I'm not giving you an out. You're not getting a fucking free pass like that.
Yeah,
Gun to your head.
You're right.
Conroy or Keaton?
Conroy.
You're going with Wow.
That's really tough for me.
I didn't expect that. I'm not gonna lie.
And that's really tough for me because I do differentiate, just like I do with my Jokers. I differentiate between live action and voice work.
Mm-hmm.
And very honestly, listen, 89 Batman and Batman Returns, that is my Batman. Like he will all
Tim Burton. Thanks to Tim Burton.
Keaton will always be my Batman. But like Kevin Conroy and the animated series and what he's done with the video games and the Killing Joke, he is just fucking like, to me, like when I hear Batman, if I just had to hear all these guys talk Batman, just without sight and seeing them, without seeing their faces, it's Kevin Conroy all day to me. And to me, that's the difference. 5 years of fucking Batman animated series, and it's one of the best cartoons of all time. Don't at me.
Kevin Conroy, I did not expect that.
Dude, he, like, if it's a Batman and I've got to hear voice, I just can't think of anybody but Kevin Conroy.
Watching as a small child, I watched a lot of the old school Batmans at my grandma's house, and so I had a fondness for Adam West, just because he was so confident in such a kind of campy role. Like he embraced it. He knew, you could tell he was self-aware just how absurd a lot of this was, because it was a much more campy affair.
It was the 60s.
It was 60s. It was goofy. It was funny, but he embraced it, and he had the charisma. It's Adam West. And then I'm in 5th grade. 5th grade? Yeah, 5th grade. Michael Keaton comes around. Mr. Mom himself. Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Goes out and comes aboard as Batman. And very much like Heath Ledger, faced a lot of criticism about being assigned to that role. You can't have Michael Keaton be Batman. You can't have Michael Keaton be Batman. Comes out and he fucking crushes it as Batman.
Dude, destroys it.
Not only is he great as Bruce, he's great as Batman.
Mm-hmm.
He does great with both of them. Cuddles understands that.
Yep, he really did.
Kevin Conroy was a part of my after-school tradition.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved Kevin Conroy. The way he voiced Batman, it was iconic, dude. Him and Mark Hamill, I don't know if there's a better duel of voice acting in the history of cartoons. They're that good.
See?
Christian Bale, I loved his origin story more than what we got out of the Keaton movies.
Mm-hmm.
I love the way I think Christian Bale is a fantastic actor. I really liked his job as Bruce Wayne, going from kind of like just clueless rich kid to vigilante to crime detective to hero of the city of Gotham. I like that. I did not care for his Batman in some scenes just because of the voice that they decided to go with Batman Begins. But I did like his Batman character as the series progressed. I like that part of it. George Clooney's a fucking joke, and he even knows he was a fucking joke. Val Kilmer, I don't think gets enough credit as Batman. I actually liked him as Bruce and as Batman. I actually like Batman Forever. I think that's a fucking fun movie.
I do.
I have a really good time with Batman Forever. Tommy Lee Jones, Jim Carrey, everybody in the movie is fucking great. I love that movie.
I get it.
I really like that. Batfleck was a victim of circumstance. They're just not great movies.
Unfortunate.
But I loved his portrayal of the Frank Miller, Bruce Wayne, Batman. Dark, gritty, haunted, violent. Takes a long. I mean, a vigilante of the pure of every in every way possible. And Will Arnett, I had to watch Lego Batman because my oldest loves it. I had to watch that every fucking day for about 2 years. And I couldn't get enough of it.
Yeah, Will Arnett's hilarious.
Will Arnett is incredible as Lego Batman. But at the end of the day, dude, I've always been a Keaton guy. I've loved him in his comedies. I loved him in his drama. Birdman's incredible.
God damn, yes, it is.
And he had no business, according to most people, playing Batman. And if you can sit there and be the best Batman going up against somebody like Jack Nicholson as the Joker, and you're still the most memorable part of that movie, that series, Batman and Batman Returns. I like a lot of some of these other Batmans, but Michael Keaton's my guy. I love Michael Keaton. I'm glad we're going to get to see more Keaton.
Keaton 89, baby.
And maybe that means I'm dating myself and maybe whatnot, but Michael Keaton was a fucking great Bruce Wayne and a great Batman. Which one of the actors do you think, do you look at and think Batman? Keaton and West is it for me, not fake Defoe. Oh, I mean, you can't really count Conroy because it's animated, so I wouldn't really.
Bruce Wayne looking Batman, you'd almost have to split those in kind of a weird way, I feel like, as well, too. Like, I feel like.
I think Ben Affleck would be the most the Bruce Wayne looking Batman.
I feel like, yeah, all around he might. He's got kind of the square vibe, but Keaton had that square jaw too. He just,
Keaton does, but I think Affleck has the most Bruce Wayne look.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. I just listen. That's really tough. Like I said, I have to differentiate usually up and outside this meme. I usually say Conroy as animated and Keaton as the main live action Batman. And that's probably the first time I've gone on record ever in my entire life of choosing Conroy over Keaton in this scenario. I've never actually done that, so that was really tough to do. But I got to be honest, at the end of the day, playing through all the Arkham series, watching the series. Finally getting the series on Blu-ray a couple years ago, and then The Killing Joke, being one of the few people in the theater in Saginaw, seeing that, for the first time playing here in town, I couldn't think of Batman in that space without being Kevin Conroy. And very honestly, like, anything. Like at this point, to be fair, Kevin Conroy got to play him in live action though, at least too.
That's true.
On the Flash, I think it was Flash show.
Yep.
So he has actually done live action version of him, at least as Bruce Wayne, maybe not suited up as Batman. So, but technically, Batman. So, I just at the end of the day, Will Arnett because their voices.
Take out the animated voices.
Take out the animated voices. Keaton clearly all day, like literally, like. And I'll be honest with you when I say this, to me, for like the top two, like third place is like. It's a massive gap.
Huge gap.
It's like when you spread your legs.
I like what Cuddle says. I see Bale and see Americans. Patrick Bateman is a fucking icon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love American Psycho. I think American Psycho is a fucking amazing movie, and Christian Bale is amazing in that movie.
Derpy Gaming.
Derpy Gaming says, breaking news, long life Batman fan dies watching Batman and Robin. Batman and Robin is a terrible fucking movie.
I don't even think we should talk about it.
It's an awful movie, but you thought Schwarzenegger was good as
hey, because of all, if you can take anything from that movie that was anything enjoyable, it was anything that Schwarzenegger was chill out.
Chill out.
Take 2 of these and call me in the morning. Chill out.
Carlos says, what I'm getting at is if you see one of these actors on something and someone asks you who that is, which one would you say, oh, that's Batman? Well, if you say that one I think is a little bit more difficult because when I look at, when I see Michael Keaton, I sometimes say that's Beetlejuice because I feel like that was crazy. Like, look, Michael Keaton as Bruce Wayne is Michael Keaton. Beetlejuice is fucking Beetlejuice. It's really hard to be like that. Dude, I remember growing up as a kid, I was like, that's who? That's Michael Keaton?
I know. Well, I didn't know that for the longest time as a kid either, knowing that he was Michael Keaton because I also was a big fan of Mr. Mom.
Mr. Mom.
Yeah,
I mean,
dude.
he had these great movies, and you look at fucking Beetlejuice, and you're like, what?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I would say, yes, he's my Batman, but in terms of, like, memorable stuff, I fucking love Beetlejuice as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Beetlejuice is amazing. So I would say he's Beetlejuice. Now, if we remove Michael Keaton from it, if I were to say who's my Batman, probably Adam West.
Mm-hmm.
And if not, I'd say Christian Bale. Those would be my 2 choices. Because I really do like Christian Bale's turn as Batman, as Bruce Wayne, even though his Batman was a little wonky early on.
At least he had a really good movies to stand on. That's the thing, is that if you look outside of Keaton, like if we again move Keaton, because to me, like live action, just generally Keaton's got the strongest, like pretty much everything, all around. But like Bale's movies were just so well written.
Yeah. Oh, I mean
the supporting cast was
imagine
powerful.
though. I mean, that would change differently had the fucking Snyderverse Batman movies been written better.
That's a good point, Derpy.
Derpy says this man said Beetlejuice more than 3 times. I did say it. I'm waiting for him to fucking show up. That would lend some credibility to our show. If I said Beetlejuice 3 times and Michael Keaton showed up, I guarantee you we would earn some followers on that.
One of my favorite parts of that movie is when, I don't know if she asks him when they're in the little thing, she asks his credentials, he just stops and goes, well, I don't know if you graduated.
Dude, he goes straight Michael Keaton. He sounds like Michael Keaton. He doesn't have that.
He goes straight Michael Keaton. He's like, actually, come along down. And he does the whole bit where he goes.
He drops the voice and just goes straight Michael Keaton.
And then he stops and goes, wait on your fucking minute. And he swears, just changes. I don't. Paraphrasing.
I love Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice is a fucking amazing. The point at which Batman was more of a pedo. Oh, well, that's a conversation for a different day.
King has been on that fucking topic for a long time. and
that's for a different day.
That's for a
different day, Cuddles. We're going to call it right there. That is going to do it for this week's show. Seriously, first of all, thank you, everybody, for coming back for Wednesday nights. I love our Wednesday night streams. Oh, he's got the Cyclops eyes gone. Look into my mind.
Great. I don't know. Anyways.
Yeah, man, you look like a fucking loser.
Cool.
Quick reminder. There will be no show next Wednesday because we'll be prepping for a live show from the Midland Mall Comic-Con. We are really excited about this. We hope, look, I understand the weekend is a difficult time for a lot of folks. You're trying to hang out with family, friends, do your thing, get away from whatever it is we have to deal with during the week. But next weekend is going to be a huge step for Banter and Babble, not to put it lightly. I mean, this is going to be a big opportunity for us to be able to go to something like the Midland Mall Comic-Con. And while this isn't like San Diego Comic-Con, this is really exciting for us because we get to be a part of things locally. We get to be a part of things with friends like Paul from Fets Depot, Ken Lanier, Art, Booty Haver's going to be there. Drastin from Seven Dungeons is going to be there. We all get to be a part of this together. And to be a part of something locally means a lot because obviously the Tri-City area, we don't have a whole lot of big things to be a part of in terms of like this, like pop culture. And, it's very humbling and it's very flattering to be given this opportunity to showcase and present this through Banter and Babble. This is a huge opportunity for us, and I'm really excited. And we've never done anything like this before, and I fully expect to stumble here and there and to learn from this experience.
Growing pains.
There's going to be growing pains. This is going to be a live event. It's a little bit different than just doing what we're doing now. But I'm just really excited for the opportunity as somebody from this area to try to build something that's going to be fucking awesome for the Tri-City area going forward. And to be a part of that is pretty fucking exciting.
Yeah, and honestly, just to be able to meet people locally, and there's a lot of people locally that don't know us, right? And we want them to know us and be a part of this as well too, like a lot of you guys have. There's a lot of you that I know in real life and known for many years, and some of you have known for a few years, but there's, it's really hard in this space to get to know people or know people that you know in like outside of the realm of streaming to, be friends with and have that support. That's not easy to do. So, we're really excited for it. We got some interviews planned. Zach, if you're really going to be in the area, we do plan on having interview times. We would love to chat with you. I haven't got to meet you yet in IRL, so I'm excited to do that. If you're really going to be in the area, I think you said you were. I know Cherry's going to be up here as well too. She's been in and out of our community for a long time as well, and plays games and different things as well too. And a lot of people traveling, talking to people that I've been talking to my friends today about their families. Bring your families in. You know what I mean? Like bring your kids and stuff like that. So there's laser tag. There's all kinds of vendors to think. There's Grimlocks. There's G.I. Joe and 501st people to meet and hang out with. So super excited to be able to. Juwan Howard's gonna smack dude. So I've got him coming. That's gonna be really entertaining. But no, we're really appreciative of everything you guys have done to be able to support us. We're really thankful for also FET to let us be involved as well too. But honestly, like this is exciting for us. And yeah, we're going to have those kind of things. There's going to be issues. There's gonna be growing pains. We're going to probably stream and something's going to go wrong, or maybe there's an internet dip or whatever it's going to be. But, this is a great opportunity for us to be able to, say, hey, we're here locally in the Tri-Cities. We're Michigan and love the Midwest, and Michigan love or whatever, locally learn about Banter and Babble and get to be a part of this. So, we're just really excited to be involved and very thankful for this opportunity.
Tricky's bringing edibles. Let's go. Cuddles wants to know, are we cosplaying? I am not going to be cosplaying. I'll be cosplaying the sexiest guy in the Tri-City area, which is basically myself, but you're going to be a judge.
I am going to be I'm going to be helping involve, and I don't know if I'm judging the cosplay, but I am going to be emceeing the cosplay results and things of that nature too. But I might put some clown makeup on my pee-pee or something like that. I might do a little cosplaying down below, but we'll see. I don't know for sure, but we'll get to that. Yeah, definitely Judge Judd. I am the law.
I am the law. Yo.
Little red helmet.
Really? No, honestly though, man. And like I said, I know it's difficult for y'all to tune in on a weekend, and all the videos will be up on YouTube. Check them out. Comment on them, let everyone know, share it with your friends and family. We would ideally love to stream the entire time, but with the nature of the situation, it's just not possible. So we'll be going live, throughout the day, multiple times.
We're working on a schedule still.
And again, this is just a work in progress. What we take from this will apply to the following one. If we're lucky enough to go back, if we're fortunate enough to go back, we'll grow from this. But we appreciate the support, and if you're able to tune in, comment, check out some of the people that we interview. We really appreciate the support, but at the same time, like I said, I get it. It's the weekend. It's not the ideal time, but it's going to be fun. And for the folks that are coming up, that are going to be hanging out, we cannot wait to meet you. We do have plans to hang out afterwards. Once Comic-Con ends on Saturday, I think the plan is to go out somewhere, grab some drinks, have some fun, get fucked up, So that's exciting.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about that. And the other thing I want to point out is, again, continue to share the content, whether it's on social media, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, wherever. Let your friends and family know about Banter and Babble. We want to bring as many people into this community that love all things nerddom, that love movies, TV shows, video games, so you can be a part of the discussion. Let your friends and family know. That's the biggest thing. The reviews on iTunes are fucking clutch.
Yes.
Like, seriously, clutch. We've seen an uptick in listens on iTunes and Spotify because of those reviews. 5-star reviews and the comments and whatnot, those help the show gain traction and reach a wider audience. We've seen that. I can see the numbers. Those reviews have helped a lot. And lastly, we understand that, look, your support, you being here is awesome. And we love you for it, and that's all we ever ask. If you want to support the stream even further, you can through Patreon. There's a link right below here on Twitch. Click on it, and if you feel comfortable, if you feel you want to, you can support the show. That allows us to buy the equipment we need.
Or buy me beer.
Or to buy him beer. Or if we need to buy stuff for stuff like Comic-Con, like we've already bought some headsets. We're buying a tripod for the camera. We're doing all that stuff because we want to continue to produce a quality show for all of you. We don't want that. Like I said, we will never, ever become complacent. We want to continue to grow the show going forward. And if you want to support us through those means, we appreciate it. But we also just appreciate you being here.
Mm.
We will never sit there and say, you can't be a part of the community if you don't pay. That's not how it is. But if you do want to support us, it is so fucking appreciated. Don't feel obligated to do so. My money is only used. I will only use your money. Brian, thank you so much, man. I seen that in there on Patreon. We appreciate your support,
you.
brother. Honestly, man.
Tonight, this is
All
probably
jokes
on
aside,
you.
I know we like to joke around with you, and you joke around with us.
Oh, I
we
love you,
appreciate
Brian.
your support, man.
I love you, Brian.
Like, honestly, man, we appreciate
I
it.
love
I know
you all.
Cuddles has been in there. Mystic Mike has been in there. We appreciate
I
you.
love you all.
Cuddles says my money is only for Boots to come back.
She's going to be on next Saturday.
She's going to be on next weekend at Comic-Con.
But-
She's going to be there. She will be interviewed live.
We will plan on getting her on the show again real soon, though, as well, too. And, listen, you guys rock. I can't say it enough. Really, really, really appreciate you guys always being here for this. This means a lot. If you get a chance and you haven't, head over to that YouTube. We're almost at 500 subscribers.
We're
on
almost
YouTube.
to 500, dude.
Yeah,
Close.
We're almost
30
to
away.
Look, just look Banter and Babble up on YouTube. Check it out and give us a
Even
like.
if
We
you only
appreciate it.
watch us here on Twitch or on Facebook,
Yeah.
just go over to YouTube, be like, subscribe. I'm never
YouTube's
going to
been
fucking
growing.
watch these guys here. I'm going to always watch them on Facebook
Right.
or Twitch. That's fine.
And this is your first time here. Like, subscribe, love, and be a part of us going forward. And we love you for being here.
And Darth
Even
Plague,
if
thank
it's
you
one
so much
time.
for the follow tonight. We've seen you in there, man. We appreciate
we
that.
appreciate you, Darth.
But, Tone, that's going to do it for tonight's show.
That is going to do it with all the love we want to share with you. And we love you all so much. We're really excited for the next week and a half. But be ready because we're doing something new.
And just FYI, March 9th, we'll be back on Wednesday night right here. We're going to talk about the Batman.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about All of Us Are Dead.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to talk about Cuphead. Cuphead series up on Netflix. So we'll have a lot of shit to talk about. But we are really excited for next weekend. We hope y'all can be a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we'll be live on Saturday and Sunday. So make sure you're hanging out. For Fanboytone, I'm TheDude79. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you. We love you. We will see you next weekend.
Maybe even in real life, live at
IRL.
Yeah, let's do this.
The Midland Mall Comic-Con. See you there. Good night, everybody. Fuck it, do it live! We're gonna do it live!
Well, I had the time of my life, and I never felt like this before. Oh, this way. I swear it's the truth, and I owe it all to you. I had the time of my life.